Holy landlubbers, it's me, your Captain Vasco speaking. And if you haven't already noticed over there, we've added something new. Some things new, in fact. So let's talk about stuff. Uh, for starters, if you're paying attention to the couch behind me, it's a bit of a mess. I'm wearing a Christmas shirt. We got Santa Winnie the Pooh. We got these Valentine's critters. We got things dressed up for Halloween. We got this Easter Bunny sugar glider. Like, what is the deal? Well, for starters, it turns out that this week is the 6th-year anniversary of this channel uh, gaining affiliate status. So that's fun. And that also happened to coincide with the fact that 2 months ago, I commissioned the new set of emotes that I have planned for and talked about for, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years now. It's been a minute. So those arrived, and I want to talk about them. So, for one, we obviously have... Oh, I'm not in the chat box. That would make it a little bit harder to get something to show up, huh? So we got Carlos. He's Clawsome. My very good crab that I love. He says Clawsome on him. He's got his little heart. Now he's back and in emote form. But also worth noting is the addition of the Vasco D holiday emote. Now, currently it is summer. It won't be summer for too much longer, and I have yet to figure out how to manage this rotation. But the plan is that I have commissioned an emote for each season of the year, and currently we have summer, which is a variation on the Vasco treat emote, which is normally eating a donut, and instead now he's a little straw hat pirate eating an ice cream cone. It's very good. And we have an asset for each season. We'll be coming up on Halloween, and well, I'm very happy with the Halloween one. It took a little work, that one, but it came out to be exactly the thing I want. So we'll probably unveil that not too far off, since, you know, we're approaching September, and that's sort of when we start doing spooky stuff. And, yeah, I mean, like, that's all very good. I think I originally planned to sort of unveil all of the holidays at once, but I think it might be more exciting to just showcase them as needed. Once they're revealed, I'm gonna add them all to the bit tiers. So basically, we have emote slots that are dedicated to people who've cheered a certain number of bits. And so basically, if you're interested in doing that, then you can have access to all the holiday ones year round, but otherwise I have like a pretty limited number of slots available, which is why the idea I had was to have one rotating emote slot for a seasonal emote. One last thing to address before getting to the game today. I don't actually know if this will work correctly. Someone will have to test it. Well, man, no, can I do it? Can I test it? Can I test it? Okay, it does in fact work. So I set this up a little while ago, but I didn't have the correct asset needed to make it look nice, and I don't know if you know this, but I get anxiety when I do things that aren't good, so I don't know why I do any of this, frankly. But at least to celebrate our 6-year anniversary, I have made active the channel point redemption to fire off the confetti cannon. It's limited to 2 uses per stream, so as not to descend into complete chaos, but we'll evaluate that as needed. I think that covers all the stuff for now. Dude, I asked if we eat donuts in the bathroom, do we eat ice cream in the laundry room? This is a philosophical question that Uchikoshi has yet to answer for us, regrettably. But speaking of Uchikoshi, it's time to play a Japanese visual novel game, although this one is not an Uchikoshi special. It is instead... You know what? I didn't test this. Okay, good, it's working. That's very good news. Yeah, it's time for Raincode. So, we've been playing Raincode a few weeks now. We've completed a prologue case and a proper case. And I mean, basically, we're just about to start a new one, so I don't think there's any particular need to recap what we've done so far. We did solve the mystery of why everyone burned to death on a train, and then the mystery of the Nailman serial killer. And I'm just going to say that one of those experiences was much more satisfying than the other. But now we find ourselves at the start of a third mystery, and you get a little glimpse of what might be involved at the start of the chapter, and this time it looks like it might be something to do with, like, a group of young girls, and one of them being murdered, because much like the Phoenix Wright universe, everyone just gets murdered all the time. But we're still pretty much in the prologue of this case, if that makes sense to you. And we learned of another one of our fellow detectives' special abilities, which is the ability to disguise oneself like the mutant Mystique from X-Men, because it adjusts your height and other things that don't make sense otherwise. And we were just instructed to clean the trash out of our submarine base. Very exciting stuff. So let's continue and hope that everything works correctly. It says, got caught up on the VODs, and I want to say that one batch of mini games was indeed garbage. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that validation. It's very important to me as a human being who's very insecure and exposes himself to ridicule on the internet for fun. I do appreciate that. I mean, those recreate the locked rooms where they, like, didn't actually give you clues as to what they wanted. That was just a rough experience, in my opinion. I could definitely imagine that being a cool thing. I just don't think that we did it in a cool way. So hello to everyone who's joined us so far, including my mom, J.M. Platts. We also have Ditto Transform, Castle Arg, and Sarah Roxhawk. And as I noted last time, or a moment ago, very different things. Everyone seems to have filed out after our morning detective meeting. Did I check the bookshelf again? I don't know if I'll get more experience for this. It's helpful to go around and just look at everything, because you get detective points, dubiously known as DP, and the DP levels you up and gives you skills that help to solve the puzzles better, except when they don't, like the constant attack effect that we experienced in the last thing as well. Hey Demolition, welcome to the stream. I see you've seen the new emotes. I hope you're enjoying them. I like Carlos so much I set up this button. Oh no, it didn't work correctly because I misinterpreted. Hang on, this needs to be addressed immediately. They changed the way this works on Stream Deck and I was confused about it, and now I understand it because I tried it and it isn't good. Okay, let's try this again. There it is. Now you have to tell it to hit enter, but for some reason that still didn't work. Why did that not work? Oh boy. I'm gonna derail my whole life. New shirt? No, it's just a Christmas shirt, so I don't wear it that often. Why did that not work? Did I typo something and I'm unable to tell? That looks right. Oh, whatever. Does it look normal on your end and just not on my end? Is that what's happening? Ah, Stream Deck. And all other stream technology. Hey, Angel, welcome to the stream. Not normal. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what to fix it. I mean, it's not really worth spending more time on. But I'll have a button that makes it go. Anyway, Carlos is here. Now let's look at these scattered books, too. Unnecessary fate to black. What? Oh, hey, hit, oh, ha, hit. That's not what I was expecting to happen. Time is passing.
This is so boring. Aren't there any decapitated corpses or something around here?
Well, we could make one. Is that what you want? I'm slightly unclear about your level of enthusiasm for death. What's the holiday treat? It's ice cream, because it's the summer holiday. It's maybe the least clear of all the holidays, in fairness, but I feel like I couldn't come up with a better concept that says summer other than having ice cream and little Vasco has short sleeves and a sunny straw hat like Monkey D. Luffy. Yeah, there's one for each season. And we'll have the Halloween one soon, which I'm very excited about. Spoilers, fall is Halloween. I think you probably could have guessed that, considering the channel's history with Halloween.
Don't say stuff like that. That's actually possible in this city.
Oh, somehow I'm immediately reminded that I noticed that there was a new patch for Rain Code, which I made sure to download right away because among its patch notes were fixed some audio inconsistencies. And I was like, oh, do tell. I'm not, like, immediately super optimistic about it, but, like, we'll see if it changed anything for the better.
This place is full of mysteries, and yet you're busy cleaning. That's stupid.
I could say thank you for the 73-month resub. It's so funny the way substreaks work, where like we just had our 6-year affiliate anniversary on Tuesday, and we're already getting people to sub for 6 years plus 1 month. It's consistent. It's just weird. I too am happy that you're here, and that you've managed to find a use for your own coalescence ability.
Oh, I should have stayed asleep in the book if it was all just gonna end up like this.
First off, you sound very much like that kid from Magic School Bus whose name I don't remember. Arthur? Something with an A, right? Secondly, this actually feels a little important. I feel like this might be the first time we've mentioned that we woke her from a book like so many cloud cards.
In the book?
The Book of Death. Oh, you probably don't remember that either.
Nah, I feel like that's a pretty safe bet.
Hey, Master, what do you remember?
I feel like you probably ought to know that by now. I also feel like you should probably have a sense of that just by nature of the fact that you, like, made the agreement.
I wish I knew the answer to that. What's the Book of Death?
It is pretty hard to tell someone what you don't remember, huh?
It's the book yours truly was sealed in. It was hidden away deep in the WDO's book vault when you found it.
That's not the timing I was expecting for that to be true.
That doesn't ring a bell?
Not at all. The World Detective Organization really kept such a dangerous book?
Clearly the book was mysterious and it was meant to be murdered, but you got to it before they murdered it. I have to assume.
Dangerous? Excuse you, but it's always detectives who want my power. It's the power to obtain the truth, after all. Although, you need to conquer the mystery labyrinth to get it.
Hey, now, I don't want to get into, like, a whole body count discussion that's, like, all indecent, but, like, were there others who did this nonsense? Who, like, traded their soul for a green balloon or whatever?
So, Shinigami, have you haunted other detectives before me?
I'm glad we asked.
Oh, so you're the type who gets jealous of ex-boyfriends?
And as predicted, she went directly there. So I feel like I'm vibing with the game in the moment. We're in the drift, so like, you know, maybe that means that this case will not end in disaster the way the last one did. By the way, there should be a functional new channel point redemption for those of you who showed up late. I'm only like 90-something% sure it's working correctly, but it should be fine. Noteworthy that there's a cooldown on it. And also, it's currently limited to 2 uses per stream. But if you want to spend a bunch of points to fire confetti, now you can.
I'm not jealous, just curious. Was it a coincidence I found the Book of Death? Or did I want to gain its power?
Yeah, pretty much like that, Demolition.
If that was the reason, why didn't I leave some sort of note before losing my memories?
That's a good question. You would think if you were an effective detective, you would do something like that. Also, effective detective is fun to say. Which maybe suggests that there was some urgency or accidental nature to the transfer. Or perhaps the note was destroyed. Because, like, there's, like, some universes where, like, mystical abilities do that. Didn't that happen in, like, not Multiverse of Madness, No Way Home? The Spider-Man movie with the magic spell to, like, make people forget Spider-Man?
Since you're dying to know, I'll tell you all about it, Master. It's a miracle of the universe that you and I met. A real miracle. You and I are bound by fate, so let's nurture our connection for all eternity.
Coming on a little strong. I mean, normally I'd say buy me dinner first, but she did take me to the Mystery Labyrinth twice. And I think it's even harder to get in there than it is to get in the Magic Castle, and that place here in LA is, like, pretty exclusive.
What?
I guess I'll ask you the real questions. Can it make me forget Spider-Man 3? I'm not sure any magic is that potent, Castleard. It just is. It leaves an indelible mark on your soul. Ditto says, I like the idea of when there's a bad guy on the screen firing off the cannon back-to-back several times, followed by it's somewhat effective. I mean, if you can get chat to coalesce, it might happen. Well, I guess I'd have to lower the cooldown. It's currently on like 4 minutes. I just haven't decided if I can trust you with this powerful responsibility just yet. Wait, hold on a second. Don't make me regret this. Hey, Neko, welcome to the stream. How's it going? You should ask chat. I should have set up like a bot command to notify people of emotes or something. We have new emotes. Check them out.
All these missed spots.
Oh, hey. Fireplace guy is still here. Give you a Twilight.
Oh, sorry. I'm in the way of your cleaning.
Was I gonna sweep that chimney?
I don't know about the others, but I agree with hunkering down at the office. Only truly cultured civilizations develop in a way that permits immobility.
I don't know what to make of that.
Hence the phrase, armchair detective. Physical distance traveled is irrelevant to arriving at the truth.
I mostly agree with that, but also I'm mostly just concerned by your general attitude.
Truthfully, outsider interference with the matter at hand can distort the truth in unexpected ways.
It's somewhat effective!
Well, I feel like Ditto's gonna have a lot of fun with that. I'm glad people like the Carlos emote. I think I was like literally like laughing about how cute he was for like 5 minutes after I got the original sketch for him. Like the original sketch was like only slightly different. I was like, okay, like that's basically perfect, but could you just make it so there's like as much Carlos in that box as possible? It's important to me. And then she did. I mean, look at his claw. Look at his big claw. I don't know. I told Ugu Bear that I wanted to convey the emotion that he is like supportive of you, like he's rooting for you. I really feel like it does. I feel like Carlos emote is perfect. And I continue to believe that I have all of the best emotes on Twitch. All of them.
Right?
Right.
You can boop his heart. Oh, look at that. You modified it so there's a tiny hand pointing at the heart. That is very good. That is extremely good.
He's still not moving. Vivia must be really lazy.
You know, normally I'm not a huge fan of those little modifiers, but chat has figured out several good ways to showcase Carlos immediately. Now he's wearing sunglasses. I mean, pretty much everything goes with Carlos. He's like the Guile theme. I think this is new dialogue. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Slaying with Shinigami, where this week Master's gonna kill the... Killing anyone?
No.
Did already ask about the shower water. I just wanted to make sure I got all the dialogue before cleaning this last bit of garbage, because I'm sure it will advance the plot.
Anyway, I didn't expect the peacekeepers to follow us around just for walking outside. Now it's dangerous to go out. Oh, why did I even come here?
It's like even more dangerous to go alone, so you should like take a wooden sword. Devilish has modified the summer holiday emote to put sunglasses on. That is very good. Makes me wonder if I should have thought to ask for sunglasses. But I kind of wanted all of the... So, all of the holiday emotes take a pre-existing Vasco emote and sort of reference them in the context of a specific holiday. So, like, I don't know, modifying it too much means it's harder to tell what it's referencing. There will be more emotes. So the holiday emote will rotate seasonally. I need to figure out exactly when that will happen and then set reminders for myself to do it. But I wanted to put up summer right away so that we could showcase that one. But we are coming up on fall and Halloween, and I think they're all really good, especially knowing you all. I feel like you're gonna be most excited about Halloween, and it is very good. Don't get me wrong. Oh, I'm supposed to leave after cleaning? I would have to talk to...
There's another
oh,
one,
no.
Master!
Oh, I have to clean the boss's area. Which sounds less appealing than that same sentence in Somnium Files.
Speaking of which...
Yeah, that's right!
Is that new dialogue? I thought we got something like that. I'm not sure that the inside of Drainpipe is a calming place. That's fair. That's true. Sarah, you've already started decorating for Halloween. That does seem fair. So I think I need to actually like do some sort of reset with the Discord, because I actually expected it to pick up the new subscriber emotes when they got uploaded to Twitch, but I think that coincides with a minor but pre-existing problem that I hadn't sorted out. I may have to like take them all offline and try to like resync the account or something to get it to work correctly. But I'm gonna try to do something to that effect at some point. Ice cream was eaten in the parlor. Oh, that is pretty good, Ditto. That is true.
I don't think these cigarette butts were here before.
Man, these video games gotta be careful putting words like butts in sentences. I have enough editing know-how to make, like, really stupid things like I could get wet down there.
Has Chief Yako been secretly smoking? I should confront him about it the next time I see him.
Secretly? I mean, he's constantly smoking, isn't he? There's something goofy about, like, I should confront him the next time. Let's say I'm confronting him right now.
What happened, Chief?
I was so busy being chased around by the Peacekeepers that I forgot to buy food.
You know, this sounds stupid, but I actually had an experience kind of like this recently. I wasn't being chased by the Peacekeepers, but, like, I went to the grocery store and, like, everyone was just being, like, super obnoxious. And I thought that, like, I had everything, and I was just like, I'm gonna leave now. And I checked out, and I was like, no, I forgot something important. It's gonna be a problem.
We won't last half a day in the river like this. Plus, I can't think straight without some food in me. I'm getting dizzy from hunger. I'm gonna pass out.
That's a bit dramatic.
I have no choice. Yuma, I've got a special mission for you.
Uh-oh.
Go and buy some food. This is our most crucial mission since the establishment of the Nocturnal Detective Agency.
I like to imagine that something at the grocery store is going to be Hanai Ward's ultimate secret.
But isn't it dangerous to go outside? I don't have a way to protect myself, like Halara or Desuhiko.
Well, it should be fine. Just do some shopping and come straight back. Please, I need those meat buns they sell in Kamasaki District. Gima District has meat buns too, but the ones in Kamasaki are cheaper and taste way better.
Now, do they taste better because they're cheaper?
Chief, you're so incredibly selfish.
I think the timing couldn't be better. Let's get out of this cramped space. I want to see some fun corpses. I hope someone's gone off and murdered somebody else already.
In this economy, most likely.
Come on! Everyone only cares about themselves. Alright, fine. I'll go and buy some food.
There is something, like, truly anime about the notion that, like our constant companion, Shinigami, was basically just like, I hope people are dead. I just want to see dead people. And, like, you must not, like, it's terrible to, like, want people dead. That's genuinely messed up. Instead, he's like, it's really selfish of you to just want to leave or whatever.
But don't blame me if I end up getting dragged into trouble.
Nope, can't have that. Keep your head down, all right?
Oh, I hate stuff like this. He seems loud, right? When we adjusted those audio tweaks, did we just make Yako louder? I have no idea what form danger will take in this game. I'm inclined to save right away, even though, like, I don't probably need to. But in the past many weeks, I had a bad habit of not saving at all.
Kamasaki district. I hope the peacekeepers don't find me.
That fuzzhead is a real tyrant.
That's not the menu button. Should be this one. To be fair, Yuma wanting to stay on the boat is selfish. You know what? That is right. I'll look at all those optional missions that I could do right away. By the way, the menu button is Y, which is like the leftmost face button, equivalent to square on like a PlayStation controller, or it's been a minute. X on an Xbox, which just feels super weird.
Why don't we just pretend that trash over there is a meat bun?
We're gonna just give him trash? We could give him trash. Hey, look, a thing to do. Staggering man. First off, he's on the ground. Secondly, he looks a bit like he's been shot or something.
You alright?
Yeah, staggered seems like the wrong word here, right? Don't the... You know what? I actually can't remember if these were voiced. I feel like they were, but I think that's probably wrong. Who are you?
Need to hurry!
I'm Yuma from the Nocturnal Detective Agency. You need medical attention. Oh, he has been shot. Or something. No, forget about me. I have something much more important to ask of you, Detective. In order to expose the corruption in Kanai Ward, I was looking into Amaterasu Corporation. But before I could publish my article, they caught wind of what I was doing. The peacekeepers took my wife and daughter and killed them. Oh, that sentence escalated very quickly. They took them, I was like, oh no, and killed them. Oh no!
Oh no!
Just the way he decided to frame that made that more alarming. Like, it would have still been bad if he was like, they had killed my wife and daughter. But, like, somehow he, like, threw me off by being like, he took them and then killed them. This is all I have left.
This is...
What is it? It's a memory card with records of illicit activities committed by Amaterasu executives. Please, I need you to take this to a reporter friend of mine. Peacekeepers still have their eyes on me, so I can't do anything that might draw attention to myself. He'll publish this information and bring Amaterasu's crimes to light. I'm kind of busy. I gotta go get some meat buns.
I see.
Okay, I just need to deliver this to him, right? These side quests are all pretty ridiculous. Yeah, it feels suspiciously like this might actually have something to do with Amaterasu's, or Kanai Ward's ultimate secret. Which in turn probably also has something to do with the Amaterasu Corporation.
Yeah.
You should be by the clock tower because there's only like 4 places in this world. I'll deliver this in BRB. Oh, I'm sure this man will be dead by the time we come back. Which, honestly, I would respect that. So often in these, like, side quest things in video games, everything is sort of like, time is a construct. It doesn't really matter. But, like, if we did this mission, came back, and we're like, all right, we did it, and he was just dead, it's like, I guess it's good that we did it. Like I says, apparently Dunkin' Donuts is in the UK now. She tried a couple donuts that were ridiculously sweet, but the apple pie donut was surprisingly good. I don't know if I've had a Dunkin' Donuts version of an apple pie donut. Krispy Kreme did one for the 4th of July this year, and it was ridiculously sweet. And when I say that, I think it would make Neko die. Because my sugar tolerance is incredibly much higher than a normal person's. And I had that and I was like, it is good, but it's a little sweet. Which I think is basically like, this is toxic to humans.
Let's go buy those meat buns, Master!
Can I buy them from the variety store?
Place.
Some questionable bottles lined up. Nothing there has changed. I keep expecting that to be important, and it never is. I think I was laying face down on the ground, which is somehow, like, worse than just hanging out on the ground. I'm not sure if that... No, that yellow marker is, like... Alright, I know where to go. I had, like, a memory lapse and had to put a countered spell on top of my library.
I can smell so many aromas all around us.
I gotta go... This is nothing. This takes me nowhere. Kind of word map. Go to... Clock Tower. Do not pass go. Like this is a Dunkin' Donut version of apple pie donut. Like, that's a normal thing. I mean, I don't know if you typed that before my explanation, but I feel like my explanation makes it clear that it has existed elsewhere. Also, don't forget that I live in America. Were these neon before? I feel like these trash cans weren't neon, or I would have noticed that. Which is somehow calling to mind the fact that they mention neon a bunch of times in Disco Elysium, which we just recently finished playing. And I'm pretty sure that, like, straight up nothing in that game is neon. It's Pee Wee Herman, basically. Rest in peace.
Excuse me.
Have you seen a reporter around here, Pee Wee Herman? Yeah, I just saw him. I think he was writing an article about that one incident that just happened. I can't, like, get the cadence and the tone correct. He'd wrapped up his business here and said he was going to Montclair Street in Ginma District. Montclair Street? I feel like you made that up. Ginma's high-class residential area. The mansion connected to the Nailman thing is there.
Oh.
Right, there's only like 5 places. I'll check it out.
Thank you very much.
What a pointless interlude. Yeah, I know, it's coming out, Yoda. I don't know why. I'm aware of it, but I can't fix it. Is this the correct? I don't know. I really should have used the fast travel. The loading times aren't great. This is not the right place to go. To the mansion. Is this always called Montclair Street parentheses near mansion? Just feels like an awkward way to convey that information. Oh, wait, you. Like a Dragon Ball Z character to me for some reason. Excuse me, have you seen a reporter around? I have something to give him. A reporter? I just met him, actually. He was looking into the incident from the other day. After our conversation, he said he was going to the Ginma District Art Gallery.
Thank you very much.
Just want to check something. Do you have new DP? The residencies are splendid. I'd love to live here, but I'm...
This is truly...
Really is a comfort food in Coneywood, huh? Okay, yeah. Turns out that between chapters I will have to make idle conversation with characters again in order to get the maximum DP. It's all about the DP. Like I said, that donut had big chunks of apple. I mean, if you like that, I mean, you don't have... No, you do have Krispy Kreme there, right? I think you said you have Krispy Kreme in the UK, but they don't do, like, some of the specialty donuts. I would guess they might have the apple fritter, because that's kind of like a standard menu item there. If you like big chunks of apple in your donut, then you might like that, because they have a really good apple fritter. Right, I have to go to the cassette tape. And I can do this. Gretchen can go anywhere.
Say,
That's true.
This is not new dialogue. But does it give points? It does. There's something not quite right about that system. I feel like I'm fine with them making it so that you constantly have to, like, do the new interactions to get the free points. But I feel like the trade-off is that it should disable the old ones. Either when you do them, or, like, at the chapter break or something. I need a person, not the actual museum. The other one? You. By the way, I feel like if I was just, like, hanging out in the rain with an umbrella, I wouldn't, like, magically know if someone walking by was a reporter. And I'm even less likely to have started a conversation with a random person to learn that they were a reporter. Indeed, he was present just recently, but departed after I answered a number of his queries. Evidently, he intends to visit the secret club next. Shh, secret club. He left but a moment ago, so you might find him
Thank you
there.
very much.
I gotta say, it's not a particularly well-kept secret if like, random passersby are like, ah, yes, the secret club where the murder happened. I think it's easier for me to warp to that. Saki District. So she's looking at the Krispy Kreme website now. It doesn't see the apple fritter, but did find an option to order a donut Christmas tree thing. It's just over 200 assorted donuts. Now I need you to clarify this. Are you suggesting that there are actual, like, Christmas holiday themed donuts in an enormous arrangement that's available in late August? Or is it just some holiday agnostic display case for an inordinate number of donuts that in its, like, grandiosity resembles a Christmas tree? Don't have apple fritters in the UK? That is a huge bummer. It's, like, literally the best donut on their normal menu. Where am I going? Secret Club. I can, like, zoom in or something, right? View area map. To the left? No, that's not what I want. Not to the left. Everyone shut up. The X. I need... Yeah, I want to go, like, right. And then it should be, like, the first stairs I see. Is it this? Seems wrong. This is, like, straight up sewer. Is it up? Club's not up. Oh, the stairs on the right are up. They're upstairs. The secret club should be... I thought it was like in this middle bit. Ah, navigation. That's the way back to base. I looked at the map and everything. I'm too stupid to live. So, what is ascending? Blue is descending. This is what floor? What floor is this? Yeah, I guess it's up. I guess it's just the upstairs from where I started. Is it a different place than I'm thinking of? I really thought... What? Everything about what's happening right now is confusing to me. One, this is not the secret club that I know about, so it was a secret to everybody, including me. Two, why is the friar from the murder church acting as a bouncer for the secret club? And three, just like generally what? Looks like you're pretty loaded there. Care to share the wealth?
Well,
I can't. This money is very important. I'm not telling you to give me all of it. Can't you spare a little bit for little old me? Who are you?
well,
But... Just shut up and give me the money.
no way.
Eek.
Hey!
Hold it! This fiery youth looks like cyberpunk chic. Maybe you should mind your own business. What's the best way to handle this situation? I feel like I should exude confidence. Yeah, I mean, I think it was, and I'm being completely facetious here, but I think it was like a subconscious hint that as I approached, I shouted, "Hold it," which is one of the things that Phoenix Wright frequently says. And I think now we have to, like, shout objection and then, like, point at him.
That's it!
This is extortion! If the Peacekeeper saw this, they'd arrest you. Ha! You try to flex on me? Don't be silly.
That's not it!
It's not a threat. I already reported you. Nani?
Then...
Hear those sirens? They'll be here any minute. Good thing there are sirens. But then again, someone dies in Kanai word to a murder every, like, 1.0 seconds. Ah, you're gonna regret this.
You alright?
I think I understand what happened now, is that I thought I was only seeing the request marker for the active request, but the other ones can also be active, and I think I activated a different one. Which explains a few things simultaneously. And also indicates that I've wasted some of my own time, but ended up making lateral progress.
Thanks.
Thank you for your
saved
help. You saved me.
No.
Don't mention it, but why'd he go after you?
Well,
He must have seen my money. I need this money in order to become the strongest. I beg your pardon, the strongest what?
I'm...
That's right. If I was the strongest, people like him wouldn't walk all over me.
What do you mean?
You mean the strongest, anyway. You don't know? Well, there's this wizard who helps out weaklings like me. This seems like a sound business plan for sure.
And
If the wizard casts a spell on me, I can get the strength to never lose to anyone. Alright, but like, can the wizard make someone so strong that his spell doesn't stop them? Like, what happens if the wizard casts a spell on someone else and then you run into that guy? Which one of you wins? Timestamps? Sorry, that's a magic joke for, like, really big nerds. I can become the strongest, but I need to pay for
I
it.
see.
Hence the money and the guy bothering you earlier. Nah, only hence the money. The guy bothering was incidental. Is there really magic that can make a person strong? It sounds expensive, too.
No way.
Could it be a scam?
hey,
I'm going to meet the wizard right now. Do you want to come with me? We can become strong together. Yeah, I think we're off to see the wizard.
I knew it.
Sounds pretty fishy. I better go with him. To Fish Town.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll join you.
I'm...
Then I'll head there first and wait for you so that we can maintain the illusion of choice over what you do next. The wizard is in the mansion. The mansion where the murder happened? That's weird. That's a weird thing to be true. But again, there's only like 5 places in the world. By the way, I think it may be side quest o'clock. But how do I... Where's the club at? I just gotta get to the club. Alright, now, hold on. Now that I've cleared that... Nope, the menu button is blocked. Now that I've cleared that... High word, X button... What level is this? Wait, what is this? It's really hard to tell what this is by looking at it. It doesn't have a stairs connection point to tell me if it's up or down. Oh no, it's just secret club. Shh, secret club. Building rooftop. Underground sector. Ugh, I just have to find it. Depends if he changes the base stats on layer 4 or temporary buffs on level 7. I mean, it should be base stats on layer 4, right? Because it's supposed to be like an indefinite inability to like lose a fight. Ditto, I think. Either way, if you try to clone him after, well, but see, I'm not talking about a clone. I'm talking about. So basically, we're surmising that the wizard can give someone, I don't know, like infinite power and toughness. But like, there's just, I mean, the fishy thing about all of this isn't the fact that there's a magical wizard that makes someone strong. It's the notion that he can repeat this process. Because then, if there's 2 people who can't lose a fight, what happens if they fight each other? Every week you fall for it when I make up lines for the characters because you're not looking. What do you mean? When have I ever done that? Does that happen? Chat, has that ever happened before? I feel like I give like a very literal and accurate line read every time. And never embellish or anything. Where's the stupid entrance to the stupid dumb place that I don't... I really thought it was in the middle, on the ground floor. No, this needs to rooftop. I don't want rooftop. Demolition is usually around. I feel like he would know if I was making stuff up. Was I just facing the wrong way? I think I was just facing the wrong way somehow. I don't know. I got there.
Excuse me.
Hey, I'm looking for a reporter. Would that be you? That's right, and you are? A reporter friend of yours is dying next to my submarine and told me to give you this. What is it?
That's what happened.
I tell you what, I find the use of the contextually kind of close, but not literal voice line dialogue during, like, particularly the requests, I find it really off-putting. Like, it's really common in these types of games to just, like, not voice, like, side quest lines and things like that. And I'd be fine with that. And there's some occasions where, like, they'll voice, like, the first part of the sentence and not the whole thing, which feels like a weird amount of trouble to go to. But there's, like, something weird about when, like, Yuma says, and that's what happened. And the line of dialogue is like, he said it contains information about Amaterasu Corporation's misdeeds. Like, that's not close. Just, like, to have him say nothing. I don't know, like, you had to go to extra trouble to record a voice line that wasn't correct and then, like, match it to the scene. Like, why did you do that? What's that squelching noise? It's implied that he killed me. This is exactly why I told him to call it quits. Why did you destroy the memory card? The man risked his life, and they took his wife and daughter, and then killed them to get a hold of that information. So what? There's no future in this town for anybody that defies Amaterasu. Everybody knows that. And now he's trying to get me involved. He's always causing trouble.
Oh no.
Well, that went pretty bad. Also, why was that guy in this crime scene of, like, a drug den that got locked down? What happened there?
For now.
Guess I should report back. Hey, I got some good news. It's a real good news, bad news situation for you, Yuma. The good news is, I don't think we're going to disappoint him with our findings. The bad news is, I feel reasonably confident that that man died. Making this, like, genuinely one of the most, like, depressing side quests I could think of in a game. I'm sure that, like, some big giant JRPG has, like, some really sad, like, Jurassic Park episode from Futurama tier, like, sad quest. But, like, in terms of just, like, a casual side quest, like, alright, let's help the dying man. Oh, not only did he die, but it was, like, super duper in vain, and his family is also dead. It's like, okay. It's a comedy, right? Definitely could have kept that info also. I mean, we thought we were giving it to the guy so that he would fulfill dying guy's final wishes. I mean, we could have tried to copy it first, I guess, but, like, I don't think it's our fault that, like, we didn't expect the guy to destroy the drive. He very easily... Oh, okay, yeah, that man died. Woof.
This
is maybe the most egregious version of that thing I was just describing, because literally the dialogue is this? And the line that they add there is, this is... I mean, it's definitely a bummer. It's just like, I don't think we're at fault. I feel like the guy easily could have just been like, I'm not doing anything with that. Instead, he just broke it, which is dumb. It looks recent. Did the Peacekeepers find him?
Huh?
No, he's actually a video game character. I think what happened is that he ran out of hit points and then became this puddle and dropped his inventory, which is this letter and money. Thanks for listening to this strange man's request. I didn't think there were any kind souls left. I'm sure he refused to take the data I had you deliver, or he destroyed it. It's the sad reality of Kanai Ward. Just so you know, that's not the ultimate secret of the Kanai Ward. Amaterasu Corporation is just too big and terrifying a presence for the people living here. So please don't blame him. He has people he wants to protect too. That said, I haven't given up. I won't stop fighting until the darkness within Amaterasu Corporation is exposed. I really hope that we meet this guy later as a ghost, but it's an optional quest, so that's probably not gonna happen. As long as people like you are around to help Mr. Detective, it's too soon to give in to despair. I feel like there was some misunderstanding where he, like, thinks Detective is our name. It's like, no, it's like Yuma Coco Head, but I am a detective. Never mind. It'd be like if you introduced yourself as, like, Dr. Coco Head, and they're like, ah, yes, Mr. Doctor. Thank you again, and farewell, 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 farewell. The letter has to echo, it's more dramatic. People of Kanai Ward must really be afraid of Amaterasu Corporation. But it seems there are still some people with the courage to oppose them. Not sure what I can do as a detective in training, but I'll do what I can to help. Does anyone else have, like, the weird sensation that, like, we got a whole level from that quest? I mean, we did have to go to, like, several places, but that's still kind of wild. Does it feel that weird to anyone else how little Shinigami is chiming in this chapter? It feels like they forgot to write her dialogue or something. It seems like she's just silently judging me or something. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, ditto. Farewell, farewell. A pocket watch, a pocket watch, a pocket watch. I still haven't devoted any time to trying to do something with that, but I'm glad that someone who watches this channel, like, innately recalled the same absurdly specific reference. It's, like, genuinely the only thing I remember from that version of the Addams Family. But, like, it stuck with me because it's such a good, dumb joke. It's very dumb.
Say,
Looks like every container is inscribed with the same mark. It's from the Wild Pines Union or something.
This is...
It's the mark of Amaterasu Corporation. Guess that means they're all Amaterasu. What could be inside? Maybe they're full of murder cases. Full of cases? What does that even mean? I do appreciate it when one of the characters says something insane and the game actually treats it insane. That's something that's, like, not actually all that common in, like, Japanese visual novels or similar games. Probably should use fast travel, huh? Where's the wizard? The wizard's in the mansion. Let's go to the mansion. I'm off to see the wizard. For some reason, I'm amused by the fact that fast travel is, like, literally just take a bus. I mean, it makes perfect sense. Public transportation is a city we don't live in. Like, you probably would if you're going to fast travel. But, like, I mean, one, I live in America where bus travel's, like, not generally all that popular. Like, there are buses in LA, but, like, I've only known one person to ever get on one. But it just, I don't know, for some reason it just strikes me as fun. Just, like, take the bus? Just, like, go there by bus? Yeah, why not? Maybe partially also because it's so straightforward, and I'm used to it just being like, and you magically arrived there as though fairies plucked you up and gently glided you across town. Public transit in LA bad. I mean, it's borderline non-existent. My dad's company is working on a project to improve the subway system out here. I took the subway exactly once to go to the Hollywood Bowl when a friend of mine got tickets to see Rent there years ago. And, he had lived here a little bit before I did, and so he had heard through the grapevine of, like, how absolutely terrible the parking situation can be. And he was like, hey, like, you should come to the show with me. And we'll, like, meet up at, like, a subway station and, like, ride it to the one that's, like, just down the enormous hill from the Hollywood Bowl, and then we don't have to worry about parking our cars. Which was a fantastic idea. It worked out really well. But it was also comical because, like, I'm used to the T, which is the subway equivalent in Boston. I've like ridden the New York subway, but not very often. And I went to college in Boston, so I have that experience. But like when you get on, I don't know if this has changed or if this was like a weird outlier because I've never used it any other time that I can recall. But like I bought like a ticket to get on the subway, and then there was like nowhere to, like, the turnstiles were like broken in this way that like you would just walk through them and you didn't have to like show a ticket to get past them or anything. And then you just get on the train and there's no one to check them, and it's like, all right, I guess it's like pure honor system or whatever. Our bus is not more popular. What if you can't drive and or can't afford a car? Ah, Neko, I see you're unfamiliar with the complete inequality of classes in the United States. It's a genuine problem. You ask very serious, real questions, and the only answer I can give is like, everything's on fire and I'm sad. Wayward travelers, you have arrived at long last!
Maybe.
I like that this person waited for me to show up even though I didn't have an appointment before making that dramatic announcement to me and the servant guy.
Well...
Yes, it's the wizard! Verily, you stand before the wizard. The feeble shall find salvation within my works. So, what brings you before me this day, keeping in mind that I know only a spell to make you undefeatable in combat? Please make me the strongest like no one ever was. I see you have suffered much, my friend. Seeking metamorphosis, you sought me out. Very well. Allow me to bestow upon you that earnest desire. I don't know how to explain this to you. I really like the utterance very well. It just feels like it's always funny, dramatic, or both. I'm pretty sure it's all that time playing Phoenix Wright because the judge constantly says it. So, like, now I've subconsciously trained myself to associate that with, like, the judge voice. Very well.
Hey!
Wait a minute.
Hey...
Mr. Detective? And you are? I'm Yuma, a detective. Not to be confused with the man whose last name is Detective. I wish everyone would stop doing that. I have something I want to ask you, Mr. Wizard. Do you have anything left for me in that bag? Nope, sorry, that's a different movie. I see. You have doubts of my magic. Very well. I shall answer your questions to the best of my ability. Does magic really exist? I find that hard to believe. I feel like asking a wizard that is, you're not gonna get a useful answer. Either the wizard is a complete charlatan, in which case they're incentivized to lie to you, or it's a real wizard, but magic is not commonplace, and as a result, it would probably be difficult for them to, like, prove that to you in a meaningful way. It says, America is so huge, surely even rich people wouldn't want to drive around. I mean, the thing there is that if people are so wealthy that they don't want to drive around, they can afford to hire someone to drive their nice car around. I assure you magic exists. I imbue magic into medicine. I'm a medicician. It's like a doctor, but it's not accredited in any meaningful way. This contains the power to make one stronger. Partake of it and you shall find yourself in a body without equal. Huge tracts of land. But a simple swallow will not suffice. Ah, see, this time the game cleverly realized that they should not voice that one.
I'm...
What should I do? You must form a contract with me. If not... If not, the magic within the medicine shall consume you. So what say you? Will you contract with me and transform into your strongest self? Also, though, in fairness to my earlier argument about asking a wizard whether magic is real, we did make our own contract with Shinigami, who can stop time and send us to a labyrinth that kills people if they're murderers. So, like... I shrugged if you're only listening. Or will you continue to wallow in endless oppression?
I'm...
I knew it.
I really don't know why, but I expected us to walk up and just slap him on the butt like we're some sort of team sport teammates, and I was encouraging him. I don't know where that notion came from. It's a bad idea. There's something off about this person. Mostly he's a disembodied voice that wants you to sign a mystical contract. That really doesn't ever end well. Looks at Shinigami.
I'm...
But I want to become strong. I'll make a contract. Please make me the strongest. Very well, our deal is complete. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Now I shall take my leave. Along with your $50 US.
Wait a second.
You shouldn't take it if you don't know what's inside.
I'm...
I want to become strong. I'll do whatever it takes. Can't you see this drug could be dangerous? You could die.
I'm...
You don't understand, Mr. Detective. I thought for sure you would be on my side. If I was strong, no one could bully me, and no drug could stop me either. So clearly the only way to do that is to take a drug that could stop me, permanently. He doesn't seem convinced, but I have to stop him somehow. I don't know, these all feel equally speculative. I'm not sure how important these choices are. It feels like for the purpose of these minor side quests, you could probably pick whatever you want. Like, for the previous installment of this one, I bet I could have, like, pretended to be friends with the criminal and then tricked them or some nonsense. Is my theory, I don't know that for sure. Will you really become stronger?
This is truly...
Do you really think taking that will make you stronger?
Well...
The wizard said so. It must be true.
No.
That's not what I mean. I'm talking about your heart.
Well...
My heart?
I'm sure.
Even if our bodies get stronger, if our hearts don't change, then we'll always be weak.
No way!
But that's not really how stuff works.
Besides,
Things might have been different if you'd stood up to that guy earlier. Yeah, victim blaming. That's how you get him to not take drugs. What's happening? It's the weirdest after-school special I've ever seen.
that's why...
It's a weak heart that relies on magic or other people, so let's strengthen it.
You mind?
I'll do the same. Are we gonna, like, punch him in the heart or something? You're right. I can't rely on magic to make myself stronger. I actually have a couple concerns here. For one, this guy already, like, agreed to make a contract with the disembodied wizard voice. I feel like there may already be negative consequences to that. Secondly, it's not clear if this guy ever paid money, but it was very clearly established that you were supposed to pay, like, a whole lot of money in order to gain this indestructibility. We're going to do this. We're going to boop the Carlos. Hey, if you want to see all the emote shenanigans, which you should want to do because I have the best emotes on Twitch, then you gotta watch live, because, I don't know, I just kind of don't like the messages popping up on the recording. I like it very minimalist. And indeed, Sarah, you're not wrong. We did just bully this man to stand up against us. And just generally stand up for himself. I mean, it's circular logic maybe, at best. It's a weird way to handle the situation, for sure.
Thanks. You saved me.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Detective. You opened my eyes. But clearly not all the way. You can see my big, tired eyelids. Unfortunately, it appears the contract could not be completed. Regrettable. Ooh. And so I shall take my leave. I doubt we will meet again. Ooh. Wait. Hold it. What about the wizard? Looks like she's vanished. I have no idea how she got away. It was not clear to me that was supposed to be a lady's voice. The only acknowledgement I got that anything was odd about the voice is that Yuma just shouted, "That voice!" Which is like the type of thing that happens in anime sometimes, whether or not something is remarkable.
Yeah.
Let's head back. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the wizard said, "I'm keeping your money," but again, like, money didn't change hands. This whole operation is just amateur hour. After this episode, the church servant began training his mind and body to become stronger. I like this choice of words only because it is funny to me. It's like, after this episode, like a literal TV episode. I mean, obviously it could be used in the context of, like, this incident that we experienced together, but it's like, and from this episode onward, for the rest of the series, this thing is true. He endured a brutal regimen and became the strongest around. This really, again, I don't know if this game will have any type of continuity, particularly for, like, these optional side quests, but it would really make me happy if, like, after making a big deal of this guy being kind of heavyset and then, like, kind of, like, meek and not able to stand up for himself, if we have this, like, throwaway line over Black, and then, like, later in the game we meet him and he's just, like, jacked! He's just, like, Schwarzenegger in his prime or something! Turned himself into an ally of the weak and stood up for anyone being bullied. Did. Hey, who's in the mood for, I don't know, some kind of side quest? Ooh. Maybe if we go to the church, we'll see the servant there, and he'll be buff. Travel by bus. I assume it was going to make him drop dead, and she was just going to walk in and loot the money. That is a way to do it. That feels like that's not the easiest way to con money, but I feel like that would explain the situation, did it? I don't think I could talk to this lady. She might be good for some DP. This church feels like it's lost some spirit. It's kind of desolate now. I'm assuming this didn't change, but I'll check it anyway.
I'm sure.
This fox must be the church's symbol. Otherwise, fine atmosphere spoiled by a lame fox. A gargoyle would really tie the place together. Yeah, but then you gotta worry about peeing on, like, people peeing on it, or even dogs peeing on it for that matter. Because when it ties the whole place together, it's just, you just run the risk, you know? Is Gumshoe a detective in this? No, there's a thing called Gumshoe Gab, which maybe we'll do some of that today. So you find these memory shards around the world, and somehow they contain things you've forgotten about people you only met after losing your memory. I'm really genuinely confused about the time frame of that. But if you collect memory shards, then you get little video clips of you interacting with them. And you get conversation that builds their character a little bit, and then you can sort of choose dialogue in them. I've only watched one or two of them, but I think the impression I got is that's how they all work. I might be a little mistaken about that. Might be generalizing. Devout metal fox woman. That sounds like some sort of, like, experimental test pilot or like a Metal Gear Solid operative or something. Even if the priest isn't here, I still come to church. God is always watching after all.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure the metal fox god is always watching. Oh boy. If there was a god, things wouldn't be like this. Thanks, Shinigami. Incidentally, doesn't Shinigami mean death god? And don't you call yourself a death god? Doesn't that sort of, to some extent, imply the existence of God? I mean, it's a polytheistic view for sure, but like, there is a non-zero number of gods in this worldview. It's everyone's favorite nun, or at least Sarah's, I think. Hello, it's been a while. You'll note that I didn't accuse you of murder, so please don't murder me now.
Hey!
Came at a good time. You need to take some responsibility. Take responsibility? What are you talking about? I enjoyed the juxtaposition I've unintentionally created by doing the mission where I'm like, it's important for you to stand up for yourself. And then I go and talk to this lady, and she's like immediately bullying me into doing something against my will.
You.
The priest went and died, so now the church might get closed down.
But
But the priest was the nail man! A valid concern.
Huh?
Who gives a crap? The city's isolation means no replacement is coming. You know what? This is a fair point I hadn't considered, but like, yeah, I mean, the only place they could come from is somewhere in Kanai Ward, so if there wasn't a freelance priest or like a priest, just a professional priest that somehow didn't have a church, I guess there's no way for that to happen, huh?
Hey!
So you're taking over. Go listen to everybody's problems at his place. Okay, I don't think that's how religion works. As a Catholic, I don't think that's correct. That's probably not it. Let's talk about DP nuns and taking responsibility. This might get tagged 18+. It technically has already, by nature of the fact that, as a new release, this game is subject to Twitch's warning that this is a mature-rated game. Otherwise, you have to do it manually.
huh?
Listen to everyone's problems.
Yeah.
Darn straight. That whack job of a priest used to walk around town and hear everybody's gripes. So he didn't even do it in private. He just went around and was like, hey, are you mad about something? And then he listened to it and I'm like, all right, go with God. The Metal Fox God is always watching you. Seems like it was pretty well received, though. All this rain must make people whiny and depressed. Why don't you do it, then? Is a great question.
Hey!
Does it look like I know how to do that? I'm basically a sociopath. The only reason you didn't catch me for doing a murder is because I hadn't gotten around to my murder yet.
Huh?
I can't do it either. I've never done anything like
Don't
that.
make me kill your ass.
It's a good line of dialogue.
Oh no.
Come on. You can't really ignore the nun's request. Even with just one arm, she'd probably kill us.
All right.
Okay, I just have to go listen to people's problems. Make sure you do it right. Do a crappy job and you'll have to answer to me. Thelma might be in a cast, but Louise will still end you. Oh. This lady spawned here. There wasn't anyone here before, right? She just appeared to have a gripe on the stairs. It's a familiar sensation. Can you date the nun? I don't think so. I can't rule out that this is that kind of game. I'm at my wit's end. If there's something bothering you, just, like, tell me, I guess. I don't know. Who the heck are you? The nun at the church said she'd kill me if I didn't come here and talk to you like a priest. You? In place of the priest? Whatever. In that case, I do have something to ask. I haven't been able to sleep at all lately. Do you have any idea what may be causing it? I can't really say because I know literally nothing about you and you've offered no information other than literally the barest minimum context of your problem. What do you think might be happening? How should I know? So tired of it, and this rain is getting on my last nerve too. Maybe I should go head to the cafe again. What kind of advice should I give? Don't drink coffee when you can't sleep? I figured that one out because Neko pointed out that I should have realized that on the train. COVID boosters kicking in and knocking you out. Well, I mean, good of you to stay safe, Angel. Hopefully you're feeling better soon. Get some rest, and thanks for stopping by. Here, have one of these. As a reminder to everyone here, you can now do that too. With channel points. It is still limited to 2 uses per stream, though, so use wisely. It does cost, like, a bunch of points, though. What should be reduced to help with the lack of sleep?
Maybe.
Hey, Kronos, you're just in time. Now we have a net neutral number of people in chat. Kronos, you should be aware of the fact that we have new emotes. If you're an emote lover like I am. You drink a lot of coffee? Huh? Yeah, I suppose I've been drinking a lot recently. I'd say about a cup every hour. So, at some point, has time effectively stopped for you, like that episode of Futurama?
I see.
Caffeine might be the reason you're having trouble sleeping. I think you should try drinking a little less. By the way, these are unrelated thoughts. Maybe also cut the coffee. You might be right. Thanks, I'll try cutting back. Sounds good. I hope your sleep issue is fixed soon. I think that was some pretty solid advice. I like to imagine both that voice line and also this text are things that Yuma shouted, like, in front of this woman without even, like, turning or walking away or anything that would, like, disconnect him from actively talking to her. He's just like, she's like, all right, I'll try that and maybe I'll get some sleep. And we're just like, success! I think that was solid advice! Hey, Flink Godmother, it's my sister in chat. Everyone greet my sister with your favorite Vasco emotes. Mostly because I wanted to ask you before what your favorite Vasco emotes are, because we have new ones. I don't know why hurricane. I do know that hurricane, period, as like a full sentence. And it's not great news. I'm a little troubled about that. It came out of nowhere as far as I know, because I checked the weather, like, earlier this week, and it was just like, yep, it's still gonna be hot and you're gonna hate it. And now it's like, there's gonna be a hurricane and you're gonna hate it. And I'm like, I don't know how to... My roof doesn't, like, hold up under normal rain. So, like, I don't know what to do. I hope you enjoy Carlos Crab. If you're not intimately familiar, Carlos Crab, he basically lives on my couch. He's almost always there. But he's lovely, and he has a little heart on him because he's a Valentine's crab, and he says Clawsome. And he's one of my favorite things that exists. So when I was commissioning new emotes, I was like, can you just make the crab very cute and make it very clear that he loves you? Can you do that for me? And Uber is like, yes, that is what I do. Sending legal ultimatums to the HOA all day. Yeah, I wonder how the storm will affect their get-to-itiveness. Will they be incentivized to do it more, or will they try to put it off and then be more irresponsible? I don't know. I hope it goes well. Or as well as I can. I know that situation sucks. Ocean says his favorite emotes are all the emotes. That's fair. I'm not gonna lie, even though they're my children, I do still have some favorites. I'm pretty excited for you all to see Halloween. That's all I'll say. Anyway, I gave this lady some solid advice. It's actually pretty clever for this to be framed as a way for us to, like, solve mini mysteries. Like, that's good. For some reason, I hadn't expected that. That makes this a more relevant side quest to my interests. Yeah, them, but we didn't expect a hurricane. Me, let me remind you about the 5 times I informed you about the leaks since December, and it's been constant. Yeah, unfortunately, that's more or less how I expect that conversation to go. I just hope it goes better than that. Man, all those Shadow Umbrella people made me think that there was, like, some horrible mystery thing going on. Like, someone just got murdered. Is there a middle of the street person to talk to? I don't know why this map gives me so much trouble. It has to be above me. It just doesn't... It literally doesn't make geographical sense otherwise. Sure is. Cheerful woman. Excuse me, is something wrong? You seem concerned, even though the only adjective I can use to describe you is cheerful. Who, me? Of course not. I'm always happy and upbeat. I'm crying right now. Really? You look really worried about something, and you're crying right now. Who are you anyway? The nun from the church threatened my life, so I'm asking people about minor mysteries. Oh, just like the priest used to do. But you don't have to worry about me. I don't have any worries at all.
What does that mean?
She's putting on a brave front, but she's also actively crying in front of me. It sends a weird message. This person's issues related to something unseen, like some sort of wizard selling you a magic potion. Question says, how'd that happen in Cyberpunk 2077 once? Civvy Poppin', person spawned in top of a promenade staircase. It was on fire. They casually walked up the stairs, still on fire. I thought God landed among the plebs. Wow, that's wild. That is something. I mean, I assume something unseen because it's not immediately apparent what the problem is. If it was the weather, I think she'd be, like, standing under an awning to avoid it or something, probably. Or, like, at least have an umbrella.
Maybe.
It's likely something I can't see directly.
No way.
Is someone harming you? I mean, it's a bit of a leap. There's a lot of things that you wouldn't have visual evidence of. That could be one of them. What do you mean?
No.
You've been protecting yourself, covering up the abuse you've received. Please stop. I'm alright. It'll be over soon if I can hold out a little longer. Well, this is grim. I mean, I don't know how to interpret the tone of this game at times. Has your husband gone missing? I mean, I assume so. Besides, if I told anyone, it'd only make things worse. I don't like that the voice line was, yeah, it'd be bad to tell people about. We detectives will help you. Me and the other detectives who won't help people. Detectives?
Yes.
The Nocturnal Detective Agency. You know, in the secret submarine base we're telling everyone about. We have the best security since Star Labs.
Well?
Please come to us before it's too late. Okay, thank you. There's not a satisfying resolution to that, although I wouldn't expect one, also, I guess. I like this music, by the way. I haven't talked too much about it, but I like it. This guy is cool. Look at him leaning on that wall. Drowsy man. Oh, what should I do? Something bothering you? If you'd like, you could tell me about it. I don't know. It's not like some known's threatening me or something. It would actually be really funny if, like, the last person you talked to was just, like, also being threatened by the nun. And their problem was that, and then, like, that made you go and, like, stand up to her and be like, hey, stop threatening people! This guy has problems with you threatening him! He is under a drawing of an umbrella. That is... something. I mean, it's like a positive state of mind, I guess. I don't know if it's actually keeping him dry at all. Thanks, but, who are you? The nun at the church is threatening my life. I'm supposed to listen to people, so tell me your troubles quick so I can tell her I made a lot of progress. Please. Oh, you're doing what the priest did. In that case, I'd really appreciate having someone to talk to. I'm concerned about my future. I want to become a hero. Hey, I know what to do. Let's tell this guy to go to the mansion and make a contract with the mysterious wizard so that he can get stronger. One problem solves the other. His problem is probably that he left his umbrella at home and is trying to be cool about it. I would enjoy that too.
Huh?
A hero? Yeah, ever since I was a kid, I've always looked up to the heroes you see on TV and in comic books. I shouldn't actually be surprised that there's TV in Kanai Ward, because we've literally seen, like, that one outdoor TV in Kanai Ward, but, like... I mean, it's gotta just be propaganda, right? Like, if there's heroes on TV, they have to just be, like, insurance adjusters for the Amaterasu Corporation or something.
I see.
I want to become an ally of justice. What should I be doing to make this happen? What kind of work can help fill people with hope and inspire them to chase their dreams? Maybe the wizard will pay you commission. See, I feel like in a more like in a Disco Elysium take on the world of Raincoat, I bet you could do that. It's like you learn that there's a shady wizard trying to just like sell drugs to people, and you can like call him on it as a detective, or just like accept the kickbacks. Which profession is best for someone wanting to be a hero? I don't know, man. That's a pretty broad definition. I expect that I'm supposed to say detective the way this is framed. Because, like, we are the good guys, and we're doing the work that the peacekeepers won't do because they're, like, innately corrupt. But, like, I don't think... For someone wanting to be a hero, I don't think creator is going to fit the bill the way he describes it. I think a creator can be heroic in a way, but, like, I think that this wants, like, a more straightforward answer.
Yeah.
Maybe a detective?
Well?
What if you tried becoming a detective? Well, what's a detective?
Huh?
Nani? Nani?
And that's what happened.
And that's what happened. That's all the TV there is. Detectives save people by unraveling mysteries and bringing the truth to light, as long as, like, a nun who's a furry isn't threatening them. Well, that sounds great, but how exactly do you become one? Actually, I've been wondering the same thing. I'm definitely interested, though. I'll look into it. Even though it's, like, super duper illegal to do that here. I don't feel like I helped that guy, like, at all. I basically just gave him advice that's gonna get him arrested by the fake police. Are there still more of these? Let's do the... Okay, I think that's all the TV there is. So if I go back to the church, I think I can complete this, even though there's no marker for that. How do people not know what they are? I mean... it's a reasonable question I share with you, Demolition. There's part of me that wants to say, like, it could be a generational problem, where detectives haven't been a thing in Kanai Ward for so long that, like, young people don't know. I think we're led to believe that Kanai Ward only isolated itself from the rest of the world, like, within the past, like, few years at most. Like, maybe around the time the rain started, like 3 years ago. I don't know if that's quite right. But, like, I mean, part of it, too, is that the Peacekeepers are, they serve a similar type of function, but, again, are, like, innately corrupt, and so, like, people kind of don't trust them, and they probably shouldn't, and maybe they don't know that much about how they operate, and also they don't operate in the fashion of a proper detective. There are ways to explain it, even though it does seem kind of hyperbolic. I mean, there's a worldwide agency, but, like... I mean, keep in mind that our boss, Yakko, told us that, like, he was the literal only detective in town until we got here with the other rejects. So, like, there was a detective in Kanai Ward. I mean, like, some amount of people might have traveled outside of the ward before the thing happened. It's tough to say. I agree with you, it seems silly and suspect, but, like, it does seem like there's some justification in the sense that Kanai Ward is, like, under the domination of the Amaterasu Corporation, and they use the peacekeepers to just, like, keep the peace and not anything more than that. I don't know. I mean, like, you have to keep in mind that this is a fictional world, so, like, to say that you should know the definition of a detective is, like, kind of speculative, in the sense that, like, I don't think that's necessarily true, because, like, literally, it seems like it is entirely possible that the only things that pass for detectives in this entire world are the detectives who work for the World Detective Organization. And if that's the case, and you live someplace without, like, for all intents and purposes, without any presence from the WDO. There was one man who was deliberately hiding from the local law enforcement by staying underwater in a submarine. Like, the average person here isn't gonna know what the WDO is based on that guy. Where'd the furry lady go? Alright, hold on. Let me check the quest log, I guess. Lending a hand in church. Listen to the residents' worries and give them appropriate advice. So I have to go to, like, more regions? Let's go to... Okay, serious question, chat. Is this a all side quest stream? Is this a, we check to see if we can finish this side quest stream and then start the mystery? Or is this a, we start the mystery and then side quest? Now the concern is that at some point the side quest does get shut off if you're not careful. Pure side quest? That's the attitude I like to hear. Was it ever explained how he got a fully furnished submarine into the city and hid it for so long? No, absolutely not, in no way. Will it ever be? No, absolutely not. Almost definitely in no way. Alright, so I think... Actually, I do think the thing to do is probably, like, let's go to the... Maybe the train station and, like, see if there's, like, more question mark people there. I mean, I know there's another side quest, judging by the marker on the map. But, like, I don't know if there's, like, more people I need to listen to. The furry nun disappeared. Here's a philosophical question for you. Do you think that the nun, if she was forced to be described with an adjective, because we don't know her actual name, we only know that she is nun, do you think she would prefer to be called furry nun or, like, violent nun? Like, just your read on her personality. Just faded out of existence. So did that guy. No, he's back now. This is a lonely train station with no customers. Are you into trains? Sorry, but there's no trains today. That's a bummer. Furry nun, what are they feeding you? Classic 90s hit. Somewhere in this location, there's supposed to be a quest. And we know that you can have multiple quests active at the same time. So where's that person?
Master?
Let's not go to the platform. There's a bunch of peacekeepers. The city can't totally provide for itself, so goods are imported. For some reason, only passengers are restricted. Well, be careful what you say when there's peacekeepers around. Says a guy who probably professionally works with the peacekeepers. Yeah, apologies, but the construction is still ongoing. How longer is it going to take? This feels weird to me. I think I should be able to get the quest in this building, because I didn't see anyone outside I could get it from. It's a 90s hit about feeding furry nuns. No, I suppose there's some cultural context required. There's demolition is helpfully provided in chat. How would I not get the reference? I think it was during late peak pandemic era. I decided to rewatch all of Friends because I was curious about how it held up. I know a lot of people are fairly critical of it in hindsight. I get why. Green question mark guy. But I think, like, for what it is, it holds up pretty well. I mean, like, there's definitely some stuff that's not as progressive as you might like. I think, to some extent, people overstate how regressive some things are, but, like, definitely not progressive. But, like, I mean, even when I went with my parents to Vegas recently, you know, we don't have, like, any access to any, like, streaming stuff or whatever, so we're just at the mercy of whatever's on the TV, and we caught, like, a couple reruns of Friends, and, like, we were all sort of like, man, like, their comedic timing is, like, exceptional, and, like, the writing is very, like, crisp and punchy, and it's, like, it has, like, a really solid foundation of comedy that, like, I think got a little bit lost in the transition away from 3-camera sitcoms. But even then, you know, like, something like Big Bang Theory is, like, a 3-camera style sitcom for the most part. That has been successful in the relatively recent past. And, like, I don't think it had that same quality to it. So I think there's definitely something to not just the quality of the writing, but also the performance. Like, they're all very talented people. Did you work on some show like that in your past? I mean, you know, I worked on, like, college production TV shows at Emerson, because that's the thing that happens there. A lot of schools will only have, like, a film department or something, but, like, because it's a media school, there was that. I mean, I've worked on some TV, but not, like, sitcoms, because if they did, my career would be going a lot better. Because that's what I was trying to do. Man acting suspiciously. What should I do? What's the matter? What? Nothing. I'm currently facing the biggest crisis of my life. My girlfriend and I are seriously thinking about marriage, and her birthday is right around the corner. I mean, this guy is inherently shady. Like, he's called man acting suspiciously, but the fact that, like, he's completely obscuring his face and appears to be wearing, like, almost a hazmat style, like, overcoat thing. I mean, that's pretty suspicious. Yeah, I did work on Deadliest Warrior. That's a pretty fun show to work on. You know, it has, like, some elements of just, like, wild stuff. For quote-unquote science's sake, it's vaguely similar to Mythbusters, but with, like, a lot less actual science. Around that same time, I was also working for SMBC Theater, a sketch comedy group out here, as, like, a production assistant, more or less. And the first year I was working with them for Christmas, there was, like, one sort of central apartment where, like, a bunch of the people who, like, did work on that lived together. And, you know, like, after shoots would just, like, play video games and stuff. So I got them a copy of the Deadliest Warrior fighting game for the Xbox, which is hysterical. Because, like, I mean, if you've ever played, like, any fighting game, you know that most of them are about, like, timing your inputs and knowing combos and, like, being very precise about when you attack and avoid attacks and things like that. The Deadliest Warrior thing was basically like a random number generator. My favorite thing to do was play any character that had, like a javelin. Because, like, if you just, like, threw that right away, you had something like a 15% chance of just immediately winning, because you would just, like, deal them a lethal hit with the javelin. It's just, like, an incredibly stupid video game. It's, like, really fun to play at a party, because, like, it doesn't... Like, you'll never do anything to make yourself more or less likely to win. Just, like, randomly, like, use your weapons and, like, see if something interesting happens. But, like, it's so stupid. It's so incredibly dumb. I do genuinely recommend it. It's, like, not a good game, but it's a really fun game. It's like the celebrity deathmatch game. I can't say I ever played that, but I would not be surprised to learn that. Because it does have kind of a celebrity deathmatch vibe to how, like, random and nonsensical it is. Cheerful Girl was also covering her face. She was, but she was trying not to let on about the fact that she was not cheerful. But you raise a good point, Kronos, that, like, we keep, like, having these important conversations with people and, like, know nothing about them. They could be peacekeepers trying... Like, we're literally, like, trying not to be detected by peacekeepers. We keep going up to people concealing their identities, like, randomly. Anyway, this guy's girlfriend's birthday is right around the corner. The problem is I don't know what to get her. Uh-huh. Do you have any idea what kind of gift would make her happy? What am I supposed to... You know, don't you? Don't you? Help me out here, man. Let's help him.
All right.
Swipe or no swiping. Okay, but you have to give me a little to go on.
For now.
At the very least, could you tell me what kind of person she is? You want me to tell you about her? No problem. Where to begin? She's cute, beautiful, thoughtful, and cute. Did I mention she's cute? She's really cute. That's funny, because, like, if I was going to make that sound like a joke, I'd write that exactly that way. I did pick up on the subtext that she was cute. Is there any other information available? Right. Oh, she did mention that she hates getting wet from the rain. I see. Well, I would advise her not to go down there, then. In that elevator on the Titanic, don't go there. It was back when my cutie and I went out shopping together. We were holding hands and about to cross the street when... I think that's enough to go on. I'll go look for something she might like. Why would we not listen for more information? It didn't sound like it was going to say something particularly, like, illicit or something. You will? I'll leave it to you, then. A gift for the girl. I honest to God do not remember if Deadliest Warrior supports online play. And I don't know if there's, like, a one-player mode. I don't know if it's something I could stream at all. Also, I'm not sure that I could get it on any console that I have actively set up. Or if they would still sell it in the store to put it on an older console, like my Xbox 360. You was too young to hear about holding hands. Incorrect. First off, we don't know how old he is, but it's important to learn these things at a young age. Okay, now there's some sort of quest marker over here, and I have no idea what quest it could be. That guy's just straight up a peacekeeper. No, it's supposed to be another one that's, like, upstairs or something. Because it's, like, right over the peacekeeper, and he is not a quest NPC. Rainwear shop. There's no person here. It doesn't, oh, no, hang on. Is this shop run by that dog? Is that dog gonna sell me an umbrella? I think the second someone mentions Halloween, everyone's like, do we know what Halloween games we'll play? I will be honest that I haven't specifically picked them out. It is something I wanted to bring up soon, as September's approaching, and usually I start planning that stuff then, if not start playing it then. We have Dark Side Detective, which we played the first game last year, not the second one. There was... The Quarry came out last year, and we didn't get around to playing that. There was another game that came out in the Dark Pictures anthology, whose name I don't remember, that came out in, like, November. So we weren't able to play that for Halloween last year. I'm open to suggestions. There's also Fran Bow, is like a spiritual prequel to Little Misfortune. I'll say this. I imagine that is a good game. I'm almost hesitant to play it having played Little Misfortune because I can't imagine it living up to Little Misfortune. But yeah, like I'm sure there's like new stuff out and like maybe stuff I suggested last year that I'm not recalling and maybe don't have noted clearly. But like I'm open to suggestion. What's the dog doing? He's running a shop. Yeah, I mean that's happening.
For now,
She doesn't like getting wet, then rain gear might be a good idea.
which one could it be?
That's a really weird way to display an umbrella, especially in a store of this size. Also, does anyone else appreciate that the readout on the cash register says welcome? Does that mean that I get my first one free? Chris says the quarry was fun to watch because I knew I would never buy it. What's funny about that, Kronos, is that I couldn't possibly relate to that more. There are a ton of games that I'm interested in watching that I could never play or stream for myself. Like, I'm like, interested in stuff like the Silent Hill games, and I would have an absolutely miserable time trying to play them. So, like, I watch other people play those. Way back in the day, it was the opposite. Like, in college times, I didn't have a lot of disposable income, and so as a result, I would, like, specifically watch things that I knew I wanted to play but couldn't buy. But, like, now, I've just, like, I do a lot of watching of things that I would never play, and then occasionally, if I'm interested in something but, like, skeptical about it, I'll watch a little bit and then make a decision. Should I go with a raincoat or an umbrella? I have no idea. This man looks very sincere. Seems like you're having some trouble deciding. Can I help you find something? Trying to decide what kind of rain gear would best suit a girl. Ah, present for your girlfriend.
No.
No, she's not my girlfriend. I'm getting it for someone else's girlfriend. Is that less weird? Does that help the situation at all? Oh?
That's what happened.
An acquaintance asked me to help find his girlfriend a gift. Well, I mean, if you phrase it like that, it sounds less scandalous. I see. That's really nice of you. All right, allow me to be of assistance.
Thank you very much.
I don't understand. Does this man work here, or is the shop run by the dog? If this man works at the shop, why is he on the wrong side of the stall? I have a bit of experience picking out gifts for friends, and also for other people's girlfriends. So what kind of person will be receiving this gift? Well, she's cute. I feel like we're protesting too much. I think we're already in a relationship with this girl. Uh-huh.
Besides,
She hates getting wet from the rain. Yeah, admittedly, we have basically exhausted all knowledge we have of this poor woman. Huh? And she's apparently very cute. That sums up pretty much everything I know. Something wrong? Did I say something, like, kind of unsettling and unhelpful? Can I ask you something? Who asked you to do this? Was it a guy near the station? Oh, no. Does he have some weird racket where he gets other people to buy stuff for a girl he's stalking? How does that help anyone involved in that scenario?
that's true.
That's true, but how did you know? Is he a friend of yours? No, no one's friends with that guy. His cute girlfriend, and I were friends for a long time. Then do you know what kind of gift she'd like? She had a hobby of collecting umbrellas, though it seemed he didn't know that.
Thank you very much.
I see, thank you. If I tell him that, he should be able to find her a gift himself. No, that's impossible. Oh no, did she die? Is she dead? She's dead. What is with all the side quests, man? They're really freaking me out now.
Oh, darn.
Aw, darn. Yeah, it happened a little while back. Some muscular guy who worked at the church punched her dead for some reason. They all tie together. They were crossing the street holding hands when a car flew through the intersection. She pushed him out of the way and the car hit her. I have to assume that this happened after the heavy rain began. And maybe one of them had a balloon or something.
Oh no!
Jason!
So that's what happened. Then I think he's still having a hard time dealing with what happened. Yeah, you picking up what I'm putting down, Demolition. Since the accident, he's been waiting for her at that station. It was the last place they met. Tried talking to him several times, but he never seems to accept it. Sorry for telling you all this. I should go now. Oh man, it'd be so funny if this guy was also a ghost. And he was like a ghost trying to resolve a different ghost's unresolved ghost business. It's just like some weird like Turtles all the way down thing of ghosts helping ghosts.
No.
Right, thank you.
For now.
I'm not really sure what to do next, but I guess I should buy an umbrella from this dog. I truly don't understand why they couldn't just, like, have this guy work the shop. I mean, I have to assume that they're trying to make a strong statement that they want me to think that this dog is running the store. It's just weird. If he'd only face reality. I really have no idea how to continue that furry nun quest. Why don't I just take the bus? Remember that they made, rigged, and animated the dog model for that one area. I mean, there might be other dogs. But either way, it seems to match the weird amount of effort that's gone into some details in this game and not others. Hey, you know what? We've gone like a solid 2 hours without that like annoying like sound effect of Yuma going, oh, but like modulated way too loudly. Maybe the patch actually fixed it. Music here reminds you of Boyfriend Dungeon. I could totally hear that. I totally get that, Katili. I've been thinking about that game a lot recently, mostly because I've been hanging out on the Zero Escape subreddit, and they've been talking... There was, like, literally a thread where people were debating whether the Eric in that game is, like, the worst character of all time. And I distinctly remember at the end of Boyfriend Dungeon being like, this guy's, like, the second worst Eric in video game history. Oh, you're back. So, did you find a present? It seems like your girlfriend died of having too many umbrellas or something. Honestly, I was only listening to like half that conversation. Umbrellas? Of course umbrellas. It never occurred to me.
Babe?
Yet another lovely side of her I wasn't aware of. How lovely, what a lovely day this is. Umbrellas. A cute hobby like that suits her perfectly. Umbrellas. Thank you so much. Thanks to you, I believe I'll be able to find the perfect present.
Sure.
An umbrella! Any plans or interest to play Baldur's Gate 3? I mean, I have a lot of interest in Baldur's Gate 3. I would have to do some real soul... Like, I know a way that I might be able to stream it, but I'm not... It would require some pretty heavy testing. And even so, as you point out, it would be a really heavy time commitment. And I don't entirely know how to reconcile that. I think I should tell this guy? Who's the worst Eric? The one in the Zero Escape franchise. I don't want to spoil anything. Someday I'll meet him and you'll hate him. I can't imagine anyone not hating him. Although the person who made that thread was like, I think he's the best character in Zero Time Dilemma. And I'm like, first off, I need you to understand how little that's saying about anything. And secondly, I need you to know that you're just factually wrong. I know you stated an opinion, but it turns out that you're factually incorrect. Hasn't your girlfriend already passed away? Passed away? Who has?
And that's what happened.
I heard it from your friend. She died after being struck by a car. What a strange thing to say. But that's impossible. But... She isn't dead. We'll be spending another lovely day together today. We'll be together forever. I don't think we helped that guy out at all. Maybe it would have been better for him if I had just kept quiet. Is that really the right thing to do? I don't know the answer to that question. Yeah, I have a strong feeling that if we hadn't said anything, he would just wander off being like, we're gonna spend today together. And then we'd be like, was it really right not to tell him that she was dead? Like, I think you just always pick wrong. Continue to ask a very deliberately triggering question of, isn't Zero Time Dilemma the best nonary game, as well as my favorite? Well, again, without spoiling anything, I literally couldn't say yes to that because it doesn't qualify. It wouldn't be a valid pick for the best nonary game. Tim says, well, there's one way for them to spend the day together. Not only are you right, but if they did spend the day together, then they would be together forever. Also, Neko, I didn't say that that Eric from the Zero Escape series is the worst video game character ever. I said he was the worst Eric in video game history, which I imagine is probably true. I don't think that there's an overabundance of Erics who are, like, extremely notably bad characters. Okay, so I guess the next thing to do is to go get that last Ginma District side quest, but then, like, I haven't finished the church one, and I don't know how to. I could be wrong. There could secretly be a worse Eric, but, like, he's a bad Eric. He is not a good Eric. I mean, the boyfriend dungeon Eric is extremely bad, and I genuinely think it's heinous that they, like, make you, like, address him. And, like, and not only that they, like, make you deal with him, but also that, like, you literally can't beat the game without doing it. It is, like, essentially the main storyline in a game that's ostensibly supposed to be about you choosing someone to... It's just like a dating sim with, like, extra layers. Like, you should be able to choose the person you want to spend your time with, but they're like, yeah, you can do that, I guess, but, like, you do have to deal with Eric, who sucks. There's just, like, no reason for that. It genuinely drops the game, like, 2 full scores from me. Was this always a food truck? Okay, so I'm assuming that that's like a red tattoo on this guy's head, but I kind of just thought he had like an open head wound. I was very upset about it. Umbrella person. But Mira. Don't but Mira me. Honestly, I would literally accept the argument that Mira is a more interesting character than Eric. I genuinely think that she had the potential to be the best character in that game. And honestly, just by the nature of that game, she ranks unfortunately close. Ah, this is bad. What do I do? What do I do? You seem pretty troubled. What's wrong? Who are you? Oh, this guy's part of the church thing. The nun at the church asked me to listen to everyone's troubles. Is that true? Please, hear me out. I work for Amaterasu Corporation, but there's a problem at work. What happened? I was supposed to meet with a shop owner today, but I don't know what shop I'm supposed to go to. My coworker gave me a memo, but it only has the number 6137 written on it. I can't get a hold of my coworker right now either. What do I do? He just wouldn't write random numbers. But there's no shop called 6137. What am I supposed to do? Which shop should I go to? Please tell
In
me.
that case...
Is it supposed to be Leig? League? Is Carlos the worst Carlos in games? Can you name me another Carlos in games? I feel like there is one. It's not coming to mind. I don't hate Carlos as much as I should, but I also don't like him as much as I should. Because the game really wants you to like Carlos. But he's weird. Wikipedia says there's a Carlos in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. In that case, undecided. Undecided if worst Carlos in video games. I mean, it's true. If we had a video game, I would want to put Carlos in it. I don't know if that would be copyright infringement. I don't think so. Neko said, I tried looking up Eric's in video games, and one of the first things that came up was some video about Eric called the most hated villain in video games. I guess Eric suck in general. I mean, in fairness, I did also have a roommate named Eric for many years, and he also kind of sucked. So I'm not saying that, like, all Erics are bad. Hashtag not all Erics. I mean, I worked with an Eric at my last job. He was, like, a contractor for the animation company I worked for. He was really good. It's true, Eric Cartman is also an Eric, and also is, like, an absolute villain in the truest possible sense. Wow, we sure have ourselves a Foreign Instundiga, don't we? What place is 6137 referring to? I don't think it's Fash, which I assume is a nightclub for fascists, which probably exists somewhere in the Disco Elysium universe. 18? I mean, no. Lei-Nine? I mean, I don't know why I would assume that's what that meant, but yeah. I mean, it's clearly this one.
Maybe...
What if we turn the memo upside down? Now it looks like Lei-9, which, as it turns out, is also gibberish. I do like the notion that we're trying to, like, detective this out, and we're like, I know. We'll turn it upside down, and nope, that's still nothing. Yes, that's it. I remember now. Thank you so much. I just know my meeting will go well now.
Hey!
Hooray! Looks like I was able to help him out.
Yeah.
That should be everyone for now. Let's report back to the nun. Truer words never spoken. Maybe. I don't know. So... does that mean that's our last active side quest for now? It might be. Like this is, there are South Park video games, so Eric Cartman is also video game Eric. I mean, I was aware of that, but here's the thing I would say. Eric Cartman sucks and is a bad character, but, like, at least he is a character whose bad qualities are deliberate, intentional, and have some kind of purpose. It doesn't make him a good character, but it makes him, like, an actual character and not just, like, the worst. Like, I just... So, like, I was considering doing a theme for stream games next year, and it would involve us playing the next Nonary game at some point. But with all this discussion, it's been, like, almost a year since we played 999. Do people want to start the next chapter sooner rather than later? Oh no, Arcadius died of the heat in Texas and is now haunting the stream. I'm sorry, Arcadius, but maybe we can cool your ghost off enough with the new Vasco holiday emote and its ice cream treat that you can rematerialize as a human being. We've been dealing with some disembodied voices today. It's kind of interesting that we took the laziest possible route to, like, not have to deal with, like, adding extra dialogue to this character for me coming back and not having finished the quest. She just vanished off the face of the earth, so I couldn't interact with her.
Yeah.
You're back. Looks like there's no complaints this time. Really? I'm glad this is finally over. What are you getting relaxed for? This won't cut it. But you said there were no complaints! That doesn't mean they were satisfied. Don't think you can replace their priest with just this little effort.
Oh, no.
Easier said than done. This is new to me. Right. So next time's the real deal. Learn from your mistakes today and be better.
What do you mean?
Next time? No, I've got other things to do.
Hey.
You're gonna help, got it?
Right.
Alright, fine. Well, we didn't learn the power of self-respect. That much is for sure. Since we haven't opened any new locations, I don't think there's really any opportunity for there to be, like, memory shards for us to go looking for. I think I looked at this, right? Spooky window?
Oh,
What's up with this creepy window? Oh, no, we finally got an O. I think it might be a little volume adjusted from where it was before, but it's still not great. I did this. Maybe the window is always watching. Alright, so I think, let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The way these things are written is really interesting. Yuma reported to the nun that he finished his counseling and was told that he wasn't bad, but to do better next time. Yuma tried to refuse, saying he had other things to do, but ultimately caved to the overbearing nun. Now, do you think that the nun would prefer to be called, like, violent, furry, or overbearing? So, if there's, like, 4 optional missions in each case, then we're done. I don't know if that's true, but I also don't see any markers or anything, so I think we can use the rest of our time starting the next case. Let's go get some meatballs. I like how that guy was like, I couldn't... Like, I didn't have breakfast.
There's a meat bun stall. There are
And
no
then, like, I
customers
did,
right
like-
now, so I should get this over with.
I did, like, 3 days worth of detective work, and then, like, came back with, like, a soggy meat bun. Also, I can't guarantee this, but before we proceed, I would like to point out that there's a cat hanging out under this meat bun cart. So maybe all, like, stores and storefronts are operated by animals? Although we did see a food truck that had a guy in it. Maybe it's controlled by, like, maybe it's like a robotic suit controlled by, like, a monkey or something.
What about your share, Master? Aren't you buying some for yourself?
I'm a bit hungry, so I should eat too.
Right here, right here. The food truck had a rat under his hat.
By the way,
But-
Master, I'm sure you know this since you're such a capable detective in training.
But Demolition, that can't be true. There's an inconsistency in your observation in that the guy who was operating the food truck was the one who had the red tattoo on his bald head that made me think he had an open head wound. So there's no chance that a rat was hiding there.
But there's
Detective.
someone watching you from the shadows.
Yeah, I mean, that just happens. Don't make a big deal out of it. I'm very popular and handsome.
Huh?
Yeah, that's happening, huh?
Don't turn around, they'll see! You're so clumsy, stupid amateur, filthy human!
Kitane has the absolute best response to that. You sure it wasn't a raccoon? Raccoony.
Filthy? Is it the Peacekeepers?
Something doesn't feel right.
It's probably all those meat buns.
The guy is sneaking around, kinda restless. A peacekeeper would be much more direct.
How are they dressed?
Well, they're in a raincoat and their heads covered by the hood.
So they're literally any human being in this town who isn't a named character.
I don't think that's an Amaterasu Corporation uniform.
So it's not Amaterasu Corp? Then who?
Let's find out.
How?
Listen, Master. I've got an awesome plan.
I think it's a bad plan that you're just misnaming.
Plan? What plan?
I call it Operation Stalker Hunter. Go into a secluded location and catch whoever is tailing you. I'll give you advice along the way, so just relax and enjoy the ride.
A variation on the classically annoying Assassin's Creed mission? I accept.
Anyway, let's head to the underground area.
Underground area? Alright, that's not where I was expecting that to go.
Sure.
I don't want to spook them. I should walk. It's very actually difficult to walk this slowly. Now, I want to say that it's implied that we'll go back and get the meat bun later, Neko, but at the same time, I'm pretty convinced that won't happen. I think that's the whole point of this distraction.
Fire Stalker! Keep going, Master.
Why not now? Because we're being stalked. Oh. I sure wasn't expecting a QuickTime event.
Sorry about that.
Really not? Where I thought that was going. That was really odd. That was really weird and out of place.
We're being tailed again, just as I thought. Keep moving, Master.
Actually, you raise a good point, Neko. The line was deliberately empty, so I imagine what's going to happen is we're going to finish this shenanigans, and then we're going to go back there, and there's going to be a huge line, and that will be the excuse why we never get meat buns.
Huh?
I just really wish Nintendo would color-code its buttons. They make QuickTime events so much worse when they don't.
Here, be careful.
Yeah, thanks, Mister.
We definitely did not fix all the audio clips, by the way, with that patch. I really don't understand what's happening with these QuickTime
Here's our
events.
spot. I'll give you the signal once the stalker is close. And that's when you nab them, Master.
I have the body of like an 11-year-old boy. I hope you understand that.
Now!
All right, let's go. I caught you. Who are you? Reveal yourself.
Oh, you caught me. But I'm not surprised.
Huh? A girl?
No,
I'm
this has got to be
sorry for sneaking
Dasuhiku,
behind
right?
you. My name is Kurumi Wendy. I'm from Etheria Academy.
Kurumi Wendy? That's such a good name. I like that name a
Pardon me,
lot.
But that's a uniform from the World Detective Organization.
Whoa,
isn't it?
Demolition! Someone knows what we
Yeah,
are.
It is.
I knew it! Oh, I'm so happy right now! I'm talking to a real master detective in the flesh!
Assistant to the regional manager.
What's with this little shrimp? Acting all friendly after getting caught. What's her deal? Look at her! Every part of her is as flat as a board.
Now, on the one hand, I think it's fun
What?
that Shinigami gets legitimately jealous of, like, all women.
You already are.
At the same time, she's really hostile towards women.
Sorry,
Like, really
sorry.
hostile.
But I really am touched. To think a WDO Master Detective is actually shaking hands with me.
Alright, you're coming on a little strong,
But
Kurumi Wendy.
What are you blushing for?
Shinigami, what do I say?
You're on your own. Watching this airheaded exchange is making me stupider by the minute. Go fill each other's empty skulls with cotton candy or something.
She's just silently staring at us while that side conversation
I'm
is
really
happening.
sorry for snooping behind you. I've always admired detectives. I'm a huge fan of the World Detective Organization.
A fan? The WDO has fans?
Of course. You eliminate unsolved mysteries. You are the greatest of detectives, saving people in need.
Again, I'm genuinely not sure if there are other detectives, so calling us the greatest of detectives may be redundant?
To me, detectives are champions of justice.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got a little carried away. I just happened to catch a glimpse of your uniform. I was shocked to see a master detective.
It's true, we do murder the mysteries. I can understand why people would be a fan of that.
But I couldn't bring myself to talk to you. I got all nervous and unsure of myself. So instead, I started following you, but I ended up acting like a stalker. I'm so sorry.
It's alright. It was just a misunderstanding.
Still, master detectives really are amazing.
That strawberry on her back. It has 3 mirrored 9s on it. This is 999, but mirrored. Why? What significance does the strawberry have? I have questions.
I'm fairly confident in my stealth skills, yet you caught me so easily.
I didn't do much. Although
I rolled a
I'm wearing
natural
a
20.
WDO uniform, I'm just a...
Oh, don't be so modest. So what is a master detective doing in Kanai Ward? Are you investigating something?
Yeah, Kanai Ward's ultimate secret.
Oh,
Do you know what it
yes.
is?
It's about the city.
The city?
I'm searching for Kanai Ward's ultimate secret.
I honestly didn't think he was just gonna say that out loud. Because it seems like a really stupid and incriminating thing to do, and like the peacekeepers are actively hunting us.
Hey, blabbermouth detective! You sure you should reveal your mission?
I'm not revealing anything. She lives here, right? Maybe she knows something. I figured I should ask while I'm at it. It's just good legwork. Yeah.
Right, legwork. Wink.
You think this flat airhead knows
Wait, does legwork mean something different than I think it means?
Kanai Ward's ultimate secret? Do you mean...
It'd be so funny if she just knew it. If we're just like, do you know Kanai Ward's ultimate secret? And she just tells us and then the game ends.
that secret research Amaterasu Corporation is conducting?
Huh? You know something?
Yeah, but it's mostly hearsay. No way! Seriously?
Can you tell me about it? Anything will help.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was referring to, Demolition. Like, I think the idea that Shinigami is like, she like acts all like self-important around Yuma. Like, she clearly like intimates that she has like some either romantic interest in him or enjoys teasing him to that effect. But like she acts like she's not serious about it. But then like when any other woman shows up, she acts like super jealous. Like that's kind of fun. But like when she actually uses these like genuinely like catty or derogatory, like there was that like victim from the other crime who they were for some reason kept insisting like she had many romantic partners, and then like Shinigami was just like she deserved to die. I'm like, what? Hey, chill out. What year do you think it is?
Yes, gladly. Anything to help out a master detective. Oh, but...
What's wrong?
This
You need to
may
solve a
sound
murder
pushy
first?
of me, but in return, I'd like to ask for a favor.
A favor? What do you mean?
I have a formal request I'd like to make to you, Detective. There's something I need to find out no matter what.
What is it?
I know Master Detectives cost a lot of money to hire. It may be presumptuous of me to propose a trade instead, but...
It's called barter. It happens.
Can I offer you this information in place of money? Oh, so she's trying to make a deal with a detective. This cheeky brat totally needs to be boom-killed. I just need you to help me a bit with my investigation. If you decide to take on this job for me, I'll tell you everything I know about Kanai Ward's ultimate secret, including secret research that Amaterasu Corporation is doing in the shadows.
Shh! Secret research that Amaterasu Corporation is doing in the shadows.
What should I do? Chief Yako told me to keep my head down.
Don't tell me you're gonna accept a job from Flatty McFlatchest here.
I mean, that's just not even clever. Like, we failed to analyze, like, a second thing to be upset about, and so we just keep saying the same word over and over. You have to know that makes you look stupid, right?
She's trying to bargain with you like some big shot, but she's probably got nothing.
That may be true, but
I know this is brazen of me, but I really want to know the truth. Will you please hear me out? Please!
Oh, by the way, I'm covering it up, but I was only just paying attention to it myself. Let me disappear for a second. Check it out. It's Kanai Ward TV. It's just like a static test pattern for 24 straight hours. You get a lot of heroics that way, I think.
sure. At the very least, I want to hear what you have to say first.
Really? Thank you! Hey! What are you thinking? There's no time to waste on this munchkin!
Ooh, speaking of munch, we were supposed to buy meat buns.
We're just going to talk a little. If she really is in trouble, I'd like to help. I don't know if detectives are champions of justice, like she said, but I don't want to ruin her image of us either.
You're just a trainee, and you think you represent all detectives? You always rely on others for help when you're in trouble, and you think you represent all detectives?
Let's get one thing straight. Even if we weren't an amnesiac trainee, it would appear that our special ability, Coalesce, involves, like, tandem use of other people's powers. So, like, it seems like we would rely on the help of others regardless, and that doesn't actually have anything to do with our competence. In fact, it would be foolish not to do that.
You're a closet perv always staring at women's breasts, and you think you represent all detectives?
I'm not sure that we've seen anything to that effect.
I don't stare that often!
I mean, every now and then is a treat, right?
What's wrong? Are you okay?
It's because you're staring at her chest.
I don't know, man. She really likes detectives. Who knows?
What kind of power is that?
Oh, sorry. I'm fine. I just got a little nervous and my heart rate went up.
By the way, because this is an anime, I'm part of some, like, weird deadly game right now where if my heart rate gets too high, I'm just gonna explode or something. Just FYI.
I haven't felt this nervous since I was chased by those peacekeepers.
Oh, that's a good bad sign. I think we all gustan las tetes grandes demolition, but I do think it applies here. I feel like that also would have been an acceptable reply to her being like, you're always staring at people, and then just say that.
You were chased by the
Completely
peacekeepers?
unabashed.
What?
It's embarrassing. Not something serious enough to tell you about. So, about my request. It's about a certain incident that happened at my school.
What happened?
If you don't mind, think you could come to the school with me? It'll be easier to explain if you see it for yourself.
Sarah asks how Fubuki got here. That feels like a reasonable question, but if you note where we're paused right now, this is someone who bears a certain resemblance to Fubuki, but this is Kurumi Wendy, which is just a delightful name. I just really like the way that sounds. But I definitely cannot deny the fact that, like, our character style has definitely created someone who looks like another one of our main characters.
It's just 10 minutes away on the bus. Is that alright with you?
Man, the buses here are like crazy reliable. You can get on one whenever you want. You don't have to wait for them. It's like magic.
Well, if it's only 10 minutes, sure. Let's go.
Don't worry about my heart rate, by the way. This will explain everything. And then her head explodes? That's a shame. It does explain a lot, though.
Thank you so much. It's this way. Sheesh.
I like...
All it takes is a high school girl batting her eyes at you, and you get all carried away.
As far as we know, I might be high school age. That might be normal. But I do really enjoy the fact that she said, it's this way, simultaneously pointing directly ahead of her and walking in a straight line. Like, I feel like either one of those would have sufficed. Either indicating where he should go, or just simply walking in the direction that she wanted to go. There's something very, like, cartoonish about that.
That's not my intention. Besides, remember what you're always telling me? That it's pathetic to flee from a case? I don't want to seem pathetic.
To who? That flat-chested uggo?
Just really not letting this go, huh?
What? I don't think she's ugly at all.
Whatever. You're on your own.
Now, I don't know what the appropriate way to respond to repeatedly calling this poor girl flat-chested would be.
Big titty.
But there's somehow something worse about only acknowledging / contesting the ugly part. Like, is that somehow disrespectful to be like, I just let that one slide because, like, yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, there's something, like, weird about just choosing that moment to finally say something about it.
What are you so mad about?
I'll have you know that I refuse to use my powers to fulfill your vulgar desires.
I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but can the Mystery Labyrinth do that?
I don't know what she wants you to do, but you're on your own dealing with it.
Fine, no need to tell me twice. I'll take care of it myself.
Or, like, hire Halora Nightmare or something.
I'm sure you'll be begging for my help in no time. Go ahead and play detective with that flat-chested uggo while you still can.
What's your problem?
Master Detective? What's wrong? It's this way.
I've been standing here for several minutes, Master Detective, and we have to go this way.
Coming!
It's just a short bus ride away.
Where's your school, Kurumi?
I think we read this dialogue out of order. It's just a short ride away. How do we get there? It's a short ride away.
Over there. The school I attend is on top of the mountain.
Huh, so there's a school there.
The bus is here. Let's get on.
It's implied we're getting on, but we're not rendering
This
it.
is your last chance to turn back. That flat-chested uggo is just using you, Master. Hey!
Let's get on the bus today.
You're so stubborn.
Hey, baby, you wanna coalesce with me later? So which it says, Shin, do you have any other lines besides that? It's getting rather flat. Vasco got him.
This is Etheria Academy. It's the only all-girls school in Kanai Ward.
It's also the Magic Kingdom. It's the castle at Disneyland.
An all-girls school. It sure looks nice.
Alright, everyone be on the lookout for a nosebleed.
I wonder what you mean by that. What I want your help with is something that happened at the school 6 months ago.
Oh. Uh-huh. What kind of incident would take place at a school this pristine? There's no
That's a
time to
really
hesitate.
stupid question.
I know what I have to do.
Hey, I immediately got a memory shard. I don't think I noticed that the memory shards were also worth DP.
Aiko, my best friend, was such a cute and kind person. Everyone
Oh no,
loved
did she
her.
get hit by a car? Sorry, the immediate emphasis on cute had me concerned we were talking about the umbrella girl.
But one day, she was found collapsed behind the school. Her head was bleeding, and she was already dead by the time they found her. Soon after, her shoes were found on the school's rooftop.
That's pretty
The
weird.
peacekeepers and teachers all decided she'd committed suicide by jumping. But she never would have done that. We'd made plans to watch a movie together on our next day off.
I mean, why would you take off your shoes to jump from the roof? I don't know what I expect that to accomplish.
If it wasn't suicide, then that means someone made it look that way. Do you have any idea who would do that?
Yes. I think the theater club may have something to do with it.
The theater club? You know, I gotta say, in all of the various, like, high school settings where, like, some club is, like, a dubious evil entity, I'm not sure I've ever seen it be the case that theater club was the villain. Something about that seems just a little silly.
The theater club?
Aiko was a member. The theater club is very active at our school. We have regular performances with live audiences.
Also, they do stage combat with real weapons and stuff.
Aiko was super popular and had lots of fans. She was overflowing with talent. And yet,
Did something happen with the theater club?
competition's fierce in the club. Aiko said everyone's always on edge. They all competed to be the leading role. Aiko was often chosen as the main lead for performances, and she was harassed because of it.
Was what she went through hard on her?
So this school is just Twitter. I mean, I guess that just correlates pretty normally, just making the point.
Please don't misunderstand. Aiko wouldn't commit suicide just because of that.
She played Lost Judgment. There are some nefarious high school clubs. But is one of them the drama club, Castleard? So that name is vaguely familiar. What kind of game is Lost Judgment?
She always told me with bright eyes about being an actress someday. I think someone thought they couldn't be the star as long as Aiko was around, and took her out of the picture.
You think she was murdered by someone in the theater club?
I don't want to believe it, but
By the way, was there a suicide note?
Where's the dance club? That's pretty wild too. I don't know. I always think of when I think of like nefarious school group, maybe the first one that comes to mind is from Revolutionary Girl Utena, the student council. The absolutely like melodramatic, like needlessly villainous student council. A Yakuza spin-off. Okay. Six is it's a Yakuza spin-off. First game had Greg Chun voicing a detective tracking down a serial killer who still steals eyes. I mean, I know that that's Somnium Files. But like, you're not suggesting there's another game with that plot, are you? You're just like making a goof. That would be insanely weird if that was true. That Greg Chun played a detective who chases down Cyclops serial killer more than once.
no.
There was no message of any kind left behind.
But the Peacekeepers declared it a suicide, right?
Yeah, but
What
they
was their
suck.
reasoning?
The reasoning is that they suck.
Just that her shoes were placed together neatly on the roof. They spoke to a few theater members and called it a day.
Huh? That's it?
That can't, Casmark, that can't be true. I don't understand how that could be true. Yeah, that is some true typecasting, huh? I need a detective who hunts down people like a serial killer. He takes their eyes. Do you got a guy for that? Yeah, I mean, I think I know a guy who could do that. Has he ever done that before? Weirdly, yes. Actually, yes. That's actually a really good point, Ditto. That Yuma takes the solution blade out of Shinigami the way that the sword is summoned in Utena. That's actually a really good point that I hadn't thought about. I know of Revolutionary Girl Utena. I don't know that I'm, like, the most knowledgeable fan. There was some... I think I watched it that summer that I found, like, a weird anime channel back at, like, my family's house when my parents still lived in Pennsylvania. There was this, like, really dramatic anime about, like, a track running club that I found really mesmerizing. And then, I think around that same time, I saw, like, Revolutionary Girl Utena. And I've only watched it the one time, but, like, it's so dramatic in such an interesting way. It's just a very visually interesting show, even though the plot makes not, like, a ton of sense.
The Peacekeepers were eager to remove the body. They said it would rot quickly in the rain.
I mean, probs,
They didn't want to draw too much attention because a lot of families from Amaterasu send their kids to this school.
That sounds like the Peacekeepers.
It's obvious they treated it as an ordinary suicide to close the case as quickly as possible.
Again, just pretty much just the
They're
Peacekeepers.
trying to make what happened to Aiko disappear.
Are the Peacekeepers covering up the incident?
This couldn't possibly be surprising to you. It's literally the only thing you've ever seen them do is immediately try to cover up a crime with little effort.
But if that's the case, then it's more likely that it was a murder. I still don't have enough information, so I can't say anything for sure yet.
Please, please find out the truth about Aiko's death. If you do, I'll give you all the information I have. Everything I know about Kanai Ward. So please, lend me your help. I have to know the truth, no matter what.
She's just a high school girl, so I don't expect her to have much crucial information. But after hearing this, I can't ignore her. The Peacekeepers obviously didn't investigate the case at all. I can't allow her friend's death to be swept under the rug. Someone has to take this seriously. If the adults around her won't help her, then at the very least, the detectives should. Otherwise, there's no point for detectives to even exist.
So she just checked and Yakuza Judgment came out a year before Somnium Files. How? How? But, like, also why? But, like, additionally, how?
You're really gonna accept this request? It sounds like a waste of time to me.
It's weird to me that this is framed like an actual choice. Like, I have to talk to her again, so I could, like, otherwise just, like, leave and not advance the game. Let me look at this water fountain first.
This is...
Oh my god. Water from the fountain is flowing like a waterfall. Suddenly I have my doubts that we're gonna make it as a master detective. It's just some school equipment. It's such an over-the-top eyesore. I kinda hate it. I'd almost prefer it if we just, like, went full stupid and he just went up to it and, like, put his hand out and was like, wet! Water, wet! Wet water! It wet! I want wet! Ooh, let me look up at the school. Very dramatic. I think that something so awful happened in such a magnificent castle-like school. As a pervert master, does your interest really lie in the case or the girls attending this place? This reminds me of, There's like a really weird joke that one of the Game Grumps used to occasionally reference. That they basically really like the idea of stating like some like really derogatory thing about yourself as if it lent more credibility to your like opinion in something. So like if you were like at a school board meeting and you were suddenly like, as a pervert, I think it's important that we just like say whatever you're gonna say. Like, maybe don't lead with that. Maybe don't do that. Why would you even think that?
Huh?
Where are you going? You have to talk to me first. Your progress is gated by this open gate.
All right, I'll investigate it.
Huh? Really? Thank you. Thank you so much.
She could break us with her tiny high school girl hands.
No problem.
Oh, lunchtime is almost over. I better get to class. Can we meet again here after school? To do the investigation together?
Sure, sounds good.
Okay, I'll head back to class for now. Oh, I almost forgot about something super important. If you don't mind, could you tell me your name?
I'm troubled by the fact I'm only just noticing this. Because I feel like at other angles you can see her shorts. But right here it really just looks like she's wearing a raincoat like some, like, I don't know, Central Park Flasher or something?
Oh, I'm Yuma Cocohead.
It still sounds fake. Every time it sounds fake.
Yuma. Yuma, I'm so happy to have finally met a master detective.
I don't know, man. I don't think of myself as a prude. I feel like you may want to evaluate your life decisions if you put on a raincoat and your...
I might get wet.
And your, like,
Down
skirt or
there.
pants or shorts or whatever don't, like, exceed the length of this coat. I don't know. Something feels weird.
Wait! I need to tell you I'm not a master detective.
And you're absolutely right that you run the risk of getting wet down there if you don't, like, wear pants or whatever.
I'm off to class.
Aw, she totally thinks you're a master detective. Isn't that fraud?
Probably. Shut up.
It's not fraud. Besides, if I can solve the case, the outcome's the same whether I am one or not.
People call that splitting hairs, you know? You really think you can solve anything without the help of yours truly? Besides, this is an all-girl school. How do you plan to investigate anything here?
Where and why did she summon that ice cream?
Well...
Shinigami Holiday.
See? You're at a dead end already. Just like your entire life.
I just need to see Hurtful.
You aren't gonna accomplish much at this rate. Except maybe making that ugly girl cry so much she gets even uglier.
Why are you being so mean? Whatever, just leave me alone. I can do this without your help.
I'll leave you alone, all right? You're not getting my help here. I hope you get cursed.
She's right. It'll be hard to investigate inside a school. An all-girls school, no less. Even with Kurumi's help, I doubt I'll get permission to conduct an investigation.
Does anyone else have the creeping suspicion that we're gonna, like, cross-dress to get in there?
Plus, the incident was 6 months ago. There'd be nothing left at the crime scene. Oh, wait! Halara's Forte could help! But then again, even post-cognition can't be used unless we're right at the crime scene. And to get Halara's help, I'd go even further into debt. I can't afford to do that. What do I do?
Oh,
Is
wait,
there
no,
anyone else I
we
can ask?
really must be about to do that, because Yasuhiko Thunderbolt's ability is disguise, and he claims that it's not magic. So he's just gonna dress us up like a girl, right? Like, that's literally gonna happen, right?
That's right! Tetsuhiko's Forte! Disguising as a school faculty member would make the investigation easy.
Sure, a faculty member, wink.
You want to sneak into a girls' school? First you were a fraud, now you're a pervert too.
Joke's on you, you already accused me of being a pervert. And I kind of admitted to it.
I haven't decided to sneak in yet. Who knows? I might get permission.
It would actually be... I would actually really appreciate the double bluff, Sarah, if he was like, I know, I'll dress as faculty. And then even though he could dress as, like, a male faculty member, he instead decides to dress like a woman. Like, couldn't we have just done that differently?
But I should still talk to Desuhiko, even though I don't know if he'll help me out. Hang on. If I was to ask Desuhiko for help, where could he be?
Did he leave us some Blues Clues?
Maybe he's moving around the city in disguise. I don't know if I can find him, but maybe I should head back there for now. I remember him saying something about lots of cute girls being in Ginma district, so he might be there.
I'm amused by how immediately and how strongly disappointed you are, Sarah, by the declaration that we may not dress as a high school girl.
I came all the way back to Ginma district. Where did Desuhiko go? He said he's off to pick up girls. Do legwork. But he mentioned something about cuties.
Again, I'm not entirely convinced that legwork doesn't mean something different in this context.
Oh
I
no,
guess I'll hit the
I'm
streets
making him
and find out if he
horny.
talked to any women.
Attention!
Oh, hang on. Find Desuhiko. That shorty detective should be somewhere in Ginma. Question people in the area to gather info
Might
and
as well
find him.
give it a go.
Use the gathered clues to talk to the person who might be Desuhiko.
Where did Desuhiko go? Maybe I should ask around and see if anyone's seen him.
You
I think I want to finish this quest, but I do want to save now. Because I haven't done it in a while. Is it the person in the tooltip? Yeah, almost definitely Demolition, because that's the way this game has worked so far. But I'm still going to do the quest.
want to sneak into an all-girls school that badly?
It's for justice or something. Please shut up about it. You're making it weird. I can't fast travel right now. For some extremely apparent reason. She went and sat at a table. She moved right to a specific table and sat down. It's wild. Alright, none of these people seem talkable.
Excuse me, I'd like to ask you something. Did some guy around here hit on you?
Yeah. So what? Do you know him or something?
Yes, something like that. I've been trying to find him. Could you describe what he looked like?
This is one of those things I feel like you should think about before you say out loud. I'm looking for a guy who's like hitting on women. Could you tell me what he looks like? Shouldn't you know?
I wasn't interested, so I don't really remember. I think he was wearing a big red raincoat and blue jeans. After I rejected him, he crossed the street. He's probably hitting on someone else.
A red raincoat and blue jeans. Did they have any unusual designs?
Now that you mention it, the coat had a white line on the back.
I see.
I didn't really
Thank
pay
you.
attention, but I did notice a minor detail that didn't
I
matter
don't know
to me.
how else to phrase this, but I think you should choose better friends.
I feel like we should have declared that we were trying to arrest that guy.
Right. I'll think about it.
Also, I'll think about it as a really bad response to that. Now the question is...
mind helping you here and there if you came running to me once in a while.
I'm guessing I should just keep asking people rather than specifically looking for that person, but I don't know.
Excuse me, there's something I'd like to ask you. Did some guy come around here and hit on you?
Please tell me it wasn't me.
Yeah. Do you know him?
Yeah, I do. I'm looking for him right now. Do you remember how he was dressed?
I think he was wearing black boots. And also... Sorry, I don't remember.
Boy, if we're trying to establish one overall look, that's a real I can almost see downtown Lidsville from here moment. Where in the TV show Lidsville, which of course everyone knows, has seen, and loves, there's a moment where basically, like, a guy, like, becomes, like, giant kaiju size and destroys, like, a village in Lidsville. And, like, someone else is, like, out in the countryside, like, doing something else, and he, like, takes out, like, a telescope, I think? And he, like, looks back at the town and he says, "Hey, I can almost see the town from here!" And then, like, waits a moment, and then he's like, "Oh no, there's a giant guy stomping on it!" Like, if you can almost see the town from here, you should definitely be able to see the, like, 40-foot-tall guy standing on it. But I love how we just, like, talk, like, what was he wearing? His boots were black, and I noticed no other details. What was the interaction you had like? What are you like?
If he had any accessories on, I think I would have noticed it.
I see. So he wasn't wearing any accessories. Do you know which way he went?
I ignored him and he left. I think he went down that alley. Anything else?
That's all. Thank you for your help.
Hello, busy lady.
Ugh, my hair's getting frizzy already. I really hate the rain.
It's been raining for 3 years. You can't use that excuse. We've established it's been raining continuously for 3 years. It's not like inclement weather at that point. It's just what the outside does.
Excuse me, did you see a man talking to people around here?
Now that you mention it, some guy asked me what kind of men I like.
I've been looking for him. Do you remember what he looked like?
Please stop telling people that you're, like, friends with this guy.
He was wearing a red coat and... Oh, I think he wore a black turtleneck too.
Okay, so hold on. Red coat with a white line on the back, black boots, blue jeans, and a black turtleneck under the coat.
I got him to go away. Then he walked toward the crossing bridge with the metal on his coat clinking.
I see. Thank you.
Was it the metal on his coat or the backpack the size of a small car?
If you know him, can you tell him to stop harassing people?
Maybe.
Okay, sure.
Makes sense. We are heading towards the place where we would find the person in the tooltip. For the record. What? Why? Why is this happening? Why are there 3 somewhat similarly dressed people all, like, doing a choreographed dance in synchronization? Why would this be done in this fashion?
This dance step is easy. What do you want?
Is that Tetsuhiko?
Yeah, that's Tetsuhiko.
Tetsuhiko?
Huh? Tetsuhiko, you say?
Did I get the wrong person?
Always second guesses himself.
Damn.
He's the only person with less
Rookie.
self-confidence
Of
than
all
me.
people saw through my disguise.
Thank goodness. It was Tetsuhiko after all.
Did he just change clothes in public without his magical hiding backpack?
What do you want from me, Rookie? Don't tell me you're dragging me back to the agency.
It's really weird that we clearly established in 2 different scenes that he didn't have the backpack and so that he couldn't make a quick change. And yet during that time he made a quick change and then had the backpack afterwards.
Oh, you can't restrain me. I am the champion of freedom.
Also, I don't know if we saw this angle before, but the side of the backpack just says park on it.
You want to tell me what to do? You're on. Just try and make me.
That's not why I'm here. I mean, there's something I need your help with.
Huh? Help? With what?
Okay, now, Yuma Coco Head, I'm begging you to be careful in the way you phrase this request to this specific individual, alright? Because, like, we could have a real misunderstanding about what our intentions are and what it is we're planning to do and why. And also, it's very possible we could get arrested. So I'm begging you to choose your words carefully here, okay?
Well... So, what do you think? Would it be too difficult?
His fists are shaking in a way I'm not excited about.
Great job, rookie. That's awesome.
His face is looking like that in a way I am not excited about.
Huh?
An all-girl school, huh? Just hearing that divine phrase can purify my soul, transforming me into a saint.
I'm quite certain you're wrong about that.
All right, I'll gladly help you out. I, the superstar detective, am at your service.
Oh, he's a superstar cop. I know one of those.
Huh? You'll really help?
Oh, come on, we're pals, aren't we?
No, don't tell people that either.
Let's talk like the old buddies we are.
Please don't tell people we're pals.
Huh?
Anyway, there's still time before class is out. All right, let's go eat.
Yeah, we still haven't bought those buns. It's like afternoon now.
My treat?
No way! I mean, are you sure?
Well, don't be shy. Just follow me, rookie.
Are we gonna steal them or something?
So, what does the girls' school smell like?
Please don't ask any
Tell me,
questions.
man.
I've decided that for the rest of the investigation, you're not allowed to ask any more questions, okay?
This guy's ulterior motives aren't so ulterior. Gross. I wish all humans would just die.
You know what? Like, I know that's melodramatic, Shinigami, but sometimes just, like, same.
Now that I've found Isuhiko, all that's left is to head for Etheria Academy. Once we
Didn't he
enter
say
the
he was gonna
school,
buy
we'll
us
be
lunch
there
first?
For a while. I'd better wrap up any other business I have now.
So just double checking, but yeah, we have no side quests. So we should be fine to just go and do the thing. I think I'll save before we hit the actual checkpoint to proceed so that we can just start fresh there with whatever new information we'll gain at the start of that case next time. That will hopefully also give me some time to try and make sure the game I intend to play tomorrow is playable. If all else fails, then we'll probably play Dwarf Romantic, but I do want to try and start a new game, because I put up that informal poll in the Discord, and people gave overwhelming support to the small games until Halloween time plan, which I was not expecting, so... do one of these. Save at the school. Yeah, I took off the cooldown. I don't know if I'll live to regret that. This is a probationary period of trying the confetti cannon. I've actually had it set up for a little while, but I honestly was not entirely sure that this could be trusted. Thanks for the stream. Thanks to everybody for 6 years of hanging out with the affiliate stream. It was our 6-year anniversary on Tuesday. Also, rip points. It's true, it does use a lot of points. It was meant to be a regulating mechanism of some sort. I originally intended it to be more, but at some point I had calculated that 2,000 felt like a reasonable cost for a visual element that might distract from whatever's supposed to be happening on the stream. No need to applaud. This is a perfect time. If you want to do it now, it doesn't disrupt anything at all. I'm just making the statement now in case I decide to change that later. Like, the fate is uncertain. But yeah, I think it's fun that for our 6-year anniversary, we got the new emotes. I'm glad that timed out that way. Also, keep an eye out for, as we approach October, we will be switching over to Fall Holiday, and when we do that, it means that the holiday emote will change, and I'm pretty excited about it. Do it 130 times. If that's true, then it may just be costed enough that I don't have to worry about people spamming it. Because that's not actually as big a number as I had expected, Demolition, to be entirely honest with you. But yeah. I don't know, this was nice. I'm definitely getting... I have some reservations about how we're gonna handle this all-girls school situation. But for the most part, I like the new character. The side quests were interesting. I honestly do appreciate the fact that, like, several of those side quests deliberately ended in a way other than what you'd expect. That was kind of a nice treat, to be honest. But yeah, I think saving there is good. Next week we'll still be around. The weekend of, what is it, September 8th, I want to say? Yeah, the weekend of September 8th, I'm not going to be able to stream. So that means that we've got 2 weekends until then. And then I imagine when I get back, we'll probably start doing Halloween stuff. Maybe like a week after that. I don't know. I don't know exactly how to handle that. It's always tricky. I don't know if we should put this game on hold for a while or run it one day and do Halloween stuff on Saturdays. I don't know. But we'll sort that out. Tomorrow I do intend to start a new game. And by start a new game, I mean play a game that's short enough it should probably fit in the entirety of tomorrow's stream. But yeah, let's find that secret Squirtle, huh? So somewhere on the couch behind me is, I've hidden a secret Squirtle. If you can see a Squirtle like this guy who's poking his head up, that one isn't a secret, because you can see him, he's right there. But if you look around, I'm sure you will gather some information or clue that will help guide you to the location of the secret Squirtle. And if you're able to do so, it will be an omen of good luck for you in the coming days. Secret Squirtles know all manner of secrets, and some of them will bring you good fortune. But yeah, again, do let me know if you have suggestions for Halloween games. I need to like recompile a list because I think I have the remaining list from last year saved somewhere, but I have to check. And if there's anything that gets like overwhelming support and is a game I would play, then that's gonna get some level of prioritization. The Secret Squirtle, no. Conai Ward's ultimate secret? Yeah, of course. I mean, look, the Squirtles and I have an arrangement, but they're an independent operation, much like the WDO, the World Detective Organization. Dead Space remake. I think I've heard bad things about the remake. Am I wrong about that? Also, I'm not entirely sure that that's a game I would play. It's not, obviously not a game I would play. No, it's good? Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? I think I might be thinking of... Around the time the remake came out, didn't they make, like, a game that was, like, really heavily inspired by that, like, Calypso Protocol or something? I think that's the one that, like, was not well received. Or at least, like, the people I know of who played it did not seem to like it. Yeah, it's not good. Okay. That must be the thing I'm thinking of. I think I've gotten confused about that before because they came out like around the same time and I'm not super familiar with either one. Are these Squirtles the same turtles in Florida that you're having take over the world? I don't know how to respond to that, Neko. They're basically the same game, except one is good and one is not. Do you think that's true of the two games where there's a serial killer taking people's eyes with the same voice actor doing the lead? I've only played one of them, so I don't know. Anyway, let's go look for that Squirtle, huh? Really, really gratified to see a chat full of Carloses. I can't tell you how happy I am about this emote. It's much like Vasco D Love. I sort of approached it with just like, here's a vague idea. I don't know if it'll work, but like the main thing is it should be really cute. And then like, even though I gave her like next to no information, she's like, here's the perfect thing you wanted. I'm like, it sure is. That's correct. It's what I've wanted for a really long time. I spent like a not insignificant amount of money on this, but I will get an insane return on investment of. I will love to see those crabs forever. Okay. Demolition said I know what his guess is, and I suppose I do. Which would be this Pikachu, who had a little Halloween Snoopy on board. Again, I crammed just like a lot of holiday fellows to make the point about the new holiday emote. I don't know if that reads. I'm wearing a Christmas shirt. It's Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon, but covered in Christmas lights. I don't know if you're paying attention to these things or you're audio only. But hiding back there was little Sleeping Evie. I saw, I guess, that the giraffe might be hiding a Squirtle. I have to sort of deconstruct things a little bit since he's hiding way down there. But Giraffe's hanging out with Pusheen the Narwhal cat. Not a Squirtle this time. And then I did happen to see one or two guesses that maybe Secret Squirtle is hiding with Carlos. Let's take a look at that, huh? Okay, look, hey, look who we have here. I tried to make that obvious, but look, this is Squirtle. Thank you for the bits as well, Demolition. And congratulations to everyone who located our secret Squirtle. And to all of us, because now we have the ability to demonstrate how close people are in chat. In chat, oh my god, look at those two Carloses with the booty chest. That's amazing. That's so good. Look at them. I mean, he just goes well with everything. I could not be happier with this emote. Or with Carlos. Both of them have brought much joy to my life, even though one of them has only been around for like 5 days. But I love the emote so much that periodically throughout the week, I was like literally just going to Twitch to look at him. He's very good. I love him very much. He just goes with every... Look, you just put Carlos next to whatever you want, and it's like the best combination of emotes. What a self-indulgent narcissism festival this has become. But I'm glad that people are enjoying the emotes. This brings me much joy. And we'll be back to investigate the all-girls school. I sure hope that's not a euphemism. Next week. Tomorrow, I'm going to try and play a new game. I know Demolition is expecting me to be playing the new game he gifted, but there's a few things that I want to get off the backlog. There's like a handful of games that I've become aware of or accumulated that like aren't quite a stream length, and I want to try and get through a few of those so like I don't just like forget to do them, because this seems like a really good opportunity to do that before Halloween. And again, just let me know if you have ideas for that. But for now, thanks for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you, and I hope to see you again soon.
Picture
Signing off for another installment of Raincoat. It's me, your Captain VascoDaGamer. Remember to take care of yourselves, and that you are clawsome. Come on, chat. Lots of Carloses. Or like random sound effects. That's also good. There we go. Yes, more Carlos. Just a giant wall of red and white crab. What an amazing boy. It's so good. I'm so happy with this. It's like my birthday, but it's not at all, because I already had my birthday this year. Alright, take care, everybody. We'll be back 6 p.m. tomorrow. Hopefully the thing is working, otherwise Dorf romantic, but we'll have something going on. Catch you then, and in the meantime, take care.